to the early and mid and late 70s to see what it was like to walk around in the garage and know what this. I know the sport was simpler, different. It was a lot quieter in the garage back then. Anybody that was in the garage was supposed to be in there. And, man, I'd love to have experienced what it was like. But first off, let's dive into where you're from. Where were you born?
Ellerby. I'm from Ellerby, North Carolina,
Okay.
which is near Rockingham. And I grew up on a farm, tobacco farm, and it's about probably less than 10 miles from that North Carolina Motor Speedway.
Yes, sir. So did you I guess in 49 the track wasn't there. The track, I think they ran their first race around 68 or something like
65.
that. 65.
Curtis Turner won.
Okay.
500 miles. When it was initially built, it had about half the banking it
Right.
has now.
Yes, sir.
So you can imagine how long it took to run that race. And when they finally the track was complete, prepared to run, I was probably a junior, at high school at some point.
Yeah.
But I remember two or three of my buddies, we sneaked out of school, went to watch the first test session they ran there.
Really?
And, of course, eventually the principal called me in a day or two later and wanted to know where I'd been.
Yeah.
He found out what we'd done, so. But we smoothed it over.
So you didn't get involved in racing until you were beyond your high school years. So what was it like being in high school, being young, hearing about them building this racetrack? Did you know even what they were talking about doing until you saw it?
Well, we kind of knew it. I remember somebody on a Sunday afternoon, a rainy Sunday afternoon, I was probably 13, 14, driving to Darlington to see that track. That was about 60 miles away from us. The first time I'd seen a big event. I mean, we watched a little 3/8 mile dirt track locally in Rockingham races, but I was always intrigued, and we would always listen to races on radio. You know, we didn't have TV broadcasts, so I enjoyed listening. So we were excited about that track opening near our home, and of course we were able to go watch the first race. And you know, 500 miles at that speed, you know how long that took to run 500.
Yeah.
It was a long day.
So how did you get involved in racing? What was the first thing you ever did that connected you to it?
Actually, it's interesting. I was not. I mean, I grew up on a farm. Of course, you worked on equipment, et cetera, but I wasn't a mechanically inclined person. But I was associated with and knew a guy who was a crew chief of Mr. DeWitt named John Hill. And John Sears was driving at the time. And John said, why don't you – I'd gone to school over at Southern Pines at Sand Hills Community College for about a year, and I kind of didn't – I just wasn't into that. So John said, why don't you come up here and look around or help me or something.
At the race shop?
Go up to Mr. DeWitt's shop. And next
Where
thing
was
I
his
know,
shop at?
It was in Norman, North Carolina, which is just north of Ellerby.
Yeah.
Just a little community called Dewick Junction. Mr. DeWitt owned farms, trucking industry, tire business. He had a lot of stuff going on in addition to owning that speedway.
So he owned Rockingham from the outset.
For the most part, yes. Yeah. And John asked me to come, and I just started hanging around, and I went to a couple of races with him, and eventually in 1970, late 70 or 71, I actually went to work there full time. And so people would ask, how did you become a crew chief? Well, at one point, it was only Benny and me, because John Hill and they parted ways. So it was only Benny and myself. So that's how I was a crew chief. There was nobody else to be a crew chief. I wasn't qualified.
How old were you?
I was 21 or 2.
Yeah.
Well, he won the championship in 1973, and I was 23.
And you were the crew chief on the car.
I was, yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to ask you this, because in 79, Jake Elder leaves Dad's team, or in 80 actually. Jake Elder left Dad's team about a third of the way through the year, and they let Doug Reichert become the crew chief at 21 years old, and they ended up being fine. Everything worked out well. What was it? I mean, what was the crew chief? How was the crew chief role so different that, hey, you got this. You're 22, 23 years old. You can do this.
Well, it was far less complicated. It was just a matter of trying to get the car put together and get some kind of setup on it and get the front wheels lined up, so it kind of goes straight.
How did you learn all those things?
Just by doing.
Yeah.
Benny was a pretty good understanding, knowledgeable about cars, and I learned a lot from him. Working as close as we work, just two people, you obviously communicate about everything.
In the early 70s, was Benny in the shop?
Oh, he worked all the time.
He did?
He did 2/3 of the work.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that championship in '73. I mean, that's right out of the gate. You've been working on cars for a very short period of time. Now you're the crew chief, and Benny had the one thing I will say about your race car is it was the most dependable, durable car. A lot of the teams back then, like James Hilton and some of the other drivers that were independents, had to dial back the effort they put in the car during the race to get to the end, to ensure they would finish the race, because they had no choice. They needed to be able to get to the end of the race. But Benny had a car that would run with the front of the pack, but you guys rarely had failures. I mean, what do you chalk that up to?
Well, we just hard work and being particular, and I was always that way. I grew up. One thing about living on a farm, trust me, you learn how to work, and that was my greatest asset. I knew how to work and wasn't afraid to work, because, when I started working for him, I made $75 a week. I calculated we worked probably 90 to 100 hours a week, so that is 75 cents an hour. Now, in '73, I probably been making more than that. But at any rate, we worked hard. We were particular about it, very detailed about preparations. Then he ran good, and then we actually won one race at Bristol by 7 laps.
Yeah.
One of those days they'd raced at Daytona. It was like a Monday or Tuesday, maybe even later than that, and we had to be at Bristol Sunday in the middle of July. Everybody's wrecking and stuff's falling off, and we're riding and going. And Benny says, I got to have some help. So John Utzman came on and drove. You talking about a gentleman driver, that's John Utzman. So John ran for quite a bit, and obviously all he had to do was finish the race to win. And John told me on the radio, he said, you need to let Benny finish this race since, so he can be the winner.
Yeah. So
John stopped, and Benny. So we changed drivers twice and still won by 7 laps.
Yeah.
So you can imagine what attrition was like that day.
Yeah. That was those some interesting times. Very common for drivers to get relief. It was the you didn't have very good insulation in the cars. You didn't you didn't have any good way to really kind of keep some of the engine temperature and the heat from the engine compartment and the brakes and so forth out of the cars. They probably weren't sealed up very well compared to today's cars. What else would you account for why those drivers were having to suffer so much?
Just heat, and Bristol stressing, and you got all that humidity in the middle of July. I remember I think it was 1971 at Dover, Delaware in June, 500 miles. Green flag dropped. The next flag was the checkered flag.
Yeah.
Can you imagine running Dover with no cautions?
Yeah.
Bobby Allison won. He was the only guy that was in the car he started in. I mean, they switched like musical chairs. I mean, one guy'd get out, and if somebody else needed help, whoever was on the sideline got in that car. It was a strange day.
There was no tunnels, walk over bridges, so when a driver would have a failure, he was stuck in the infield.
First, second lap crash, long day.
Yeah, and you're just standing around. And a lot of times, I remember this, even in the 80s, a lot of drivers would stand around in the back of pits waiting to be called on.
Waiting for an opportunity.
Wanting for somebody to say, hey, you mind? We need some help.
Yeah.
So one of the most incredible things about that championship year is obviously the race at Rockingham, where Benny gets in an accident early and it ripped the entire whole right side off the car, roll bars and everything. And I can't imagine how badly it might have damaged trailing arm mounts and all kinds of sort of things underneath that car to have that kind of a crash. You can see in photos of the car, it just completely opened up the right side. And take me there. Take me when that car comes in on the record. Do you think you can get it fixed?
We had the assistance of Tex Powell, Richie and Les Bars, Jimmy Kowalczyk, who had worked with the Petties and had helped build some cars. Actually, they were probably more responsible for winning the championship than Travis Carter, at any rate. But we were there with a van with welders, cutting equipment, all kind of with anticipation.
You brought all that.
We brought stuff to be able to repair that car. So they drug it in. we kind of made a quick assessment. This guy does this guy does that, this guy does that. Ralph Moody was there. He had brought a guy named Bobby Musgrove, who did not qualify.
Yep.
For some reason, if somebody doesn't qualify for a race, they'd load up and go home.
Yeah.
For some reason, this car was still at that racetrack in the garage on Sunday. So
there.
Ralph goes and cranks it up and drives it and parks it behind our car in the garage and said, cut the door bars out of this car.
Wow.
So they did and welded them in, and then we, had to change the rear end housing and all that stuff and got it where he could run fast enough to get points. In the interim, Richard was the next guy in line, Richard Petty. So they had engine failure. When he comes in, I thought, well, this is it. Richard's going to win his championship because, but the next thing you know, that thing's in the garage of the engine. Maurice raises the hood. They think about changing the engine. And when he sees us start to repair the car, he just slams the hood and walks off. And they give up. And but we were able to accumulate enough points to close the deal.
I've been fascinated all them years wondering how you cut the door bars out of one car and welded it. I mean, your car's, it's not like it's just going to fit right in because your car's damaged.
Yeah, Tex somehow managed to do it. Tex was, all those
and
guys
NASCAR
were,
was standing, NASCAR was like, yep, go on out there.
Joe Gazaway was there, and I don't know if you remember Joe.
No.
Joe was there, and I remember we got it finished and let them run, and I remember Joe climbing up on the running board of the truck when I was leaving. Because really the thing had like 29,000, had exhaust even in the right door bars.
Okay.
So Joe called, he stands up on the truck, that old wisdom. He said, don't ever bring something like that back here.
The original roll bars in there were thin.
Oh, they were
thin
like
wall.
29,000
Nothing.
Something. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And the truth is, when that car was built, I'm not sure I even knew that.
Yeah. But you learned it.
But I learned it after they were ripped out.
No wonder it ripped the damn door bars out of it. Well, that makes some more sense. What was Benny's? I'm curious to kind of understand what frame of mind Benny might have been in. He's in when you bring the car in, does he think that?
Well, he thinks it's over, but once he sees progress start and the effort being put forth, and we even had, best I recollect, it's been 50 years ago. I think other people offered to come in and assist.
That's the story, yeah.
So, and that gave him encouragement. The next thing you know, he's encouraged, and he knew he was in a kind of an untenable, dangerous situation going back on the racetrack with that car because it wasn't in the best of conditions. But he made it up his mind he was going to do it.
How many laps did the car run?
I don't remember how many we had to run, but we finally, once they radioed down or notified us that we had enough points, he pulled in, withdrew then.
Yeah. So, pretty incredible. This may be my favorite time of the NASCAR season. It's when the on-track drama starts to ramp up and each driver fights harder and harder because each win might mean survival and a shot at the championship. And hard-fought battles on the track mean that this is also the time of the year when race win diecasts from Lionel Racing really tell a story. These authentic replicas capture a particular moment in NASCAR history like no other collectible does. From each piece of confetti on the car, the tire marks, the scuff marks, the artists at Lionel do an incredible job making the race to win diecast look just like the real thing. These diecasts are incredibly authentic. Remember when the Trackhouse team put a giant taco on Daniel Suarez's car at Atlanta earlier this season? Well, Lionel Racing's Atlanta win diecast has a taco on the hood too. I have Lionel win diecasts in my collection, and you can too, by ordering them at LionelRacing.com, team stores, and authorized Lionel Racing dealers. And don't forget, you can find a wide selection of diecasts at the Lionel stores in Concord Mills Mall near Charlotte Motor Speedway and Opry Mills Mall in Nashville. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, and that's America's #1 sports book. We have something a little different for you, though. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers that bet $5 get a free 3-week trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com/Dale to download America's #1 sportsbook. 21 plus and present in North Carolina, full price of NFL Sunday ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after the free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. You also would go and win the Daytona 500 in 1975 with the Kings Row car, I think, is white and gold. And then you would go to Roger Penske's and work with Bobby in 76. How hard was this decision, I guess, to leave JD, or Mr. DeWitt, LG DeWitt? How hard was it to leave him because they had given you basically your whole opportunity up to that point?
Well, I don't know. I went in and talked to Mr. DeWitt because, he was I was from a big family. Mr. DeWitt was part of the community, and everybody, he knew my family. Some of my brothers even drove trucks during the winter when they weren't doing other stuff for him. So it was like you knew the guy well. But we went in and sat and talked about it, and truthfully, I think I probably convinced him. I said, this is a better opportunity for you because you can get people that are better than I am to come and run your race team, which they did. They got Jake, and Waddell went down there to build engines and stuff. He had been building engines, but he got him to actually go to working at his shop. So it was a better fit for everybody. I learned a lot with Bobby, and I certainly learned a lot with working for Roger.
Yeah. So what was your role there?
I was a crew chief for there.
Yep.
And we had a miserable year. We could run good, Dale, but I'm telling you, we had engine trouble. And truthfully, it's to not make us too long a story, at the end, after the season was over, they finally realized what was causing the problems with the engines the whole year.
Yeah.
And we didn't win any races. Of course, he had two nasty crashes, one at Rockingham and one at somewhere in Minnesota with a little javelin or something hit the end of a wall head on. And he wouldn't tell everybody how bad he was hurt, but he called me and told me about it, and his foot was broken so bad. And he got to Dover, and he lifted his eye. He said they had to go in and put something behind my eye and push my eyeball back out. And I fixed the first.
His eyeball was in?
Somehow they had to push it back out or some kind of way, he told me. But I was fixed the first bottom pivot pedal for him because he said, I can't slide my foot. You know how the old
can't use a hanging pedal.
And so we made him a foot pedal like that to drive. Really? And he drove all banged up half the year.
The wreck at Rockingham, we flipped that car down the back straightaway. It was pretty nasty.
It was bad. That did a lot of damage that he hid from people, I think.
Yeah. Bobby was we talk about, we've had a lot of people in here that's worked with Bobby over the years, and I've always had this opinion. Bobby Allison was one hell of a race car driver, but he was also his own worst enemy a lot of times. He would get, if he had stayed with Junior Johnson, for example, early in the 70s, imagine the domination that pairing would have continued to have. But he would, he eventually did find his championship in the 80s, but he seemed like the kind of guy that he would get easily annoyed with a situation, and he would even rather go drive his own car, knowing it's lesser equipment, than to have to deal with whatever it was that was sort of frustrating him in whatever organization he was with. I imagine, though, when he was with Roger, it seemed, though, I don't know, you can tell me, he dealt with the frustrations of that kind of upstart team, new program. He dealt with that a little bit better than some of the other situations he was in.
Well, I think, Roger had a knack. I got to have a great admiration for Roger Penske for what he's accomplished in business and motorsports and whatever. But I think Bobby had a good respect for him. He was building a first-class operation. And, of course, the frustration of not winning races that year, I think, got to Bobby. And at the end of the year at Ontario, we had another problem with it, out of the race with an engine-related problem. And he comes in and parks and he gets out and tells Roger, he says, I'm not driving next year. And he gets on a bicycle and rides off into the infield.
That was it.
So, but I got along great with him. We liked him.
What was wrong with the motors?
What really happened, they used an engine plate, bolts between the block and the water pump. Mm-hmm. So Ford had this odd shape, how they match. Well, the guy doing the work just bored a round hole. So Leonard Wood, at the end of the year, talked with Woody. Woody Woodard was the guy in charge of the engines. Talked with Woody and asked Woody to explain everything about it. And so when Woody told him how he had bored a hole for the water to pass through that engine plate, from the engine block to the water pump, Leonard said, your problem is you need to match the shape of that water pump. He said, you're restricting the water.
Yeah.
Because the engine would just build temperature throughout the race, and it'd take off running good, and it'd get weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. And then we did it the whole year before we found the problem. So that was, could have been a much different season.
Right.
Had that been corrected earlier.
So Bobby got out of the car, and then Dave Marcus would drive in 77.
And we only run like 10, 11, 12 races.
Was y'all running a full schedule with Bobby?
Yeah, you ran all the races with Bobby.
So why did you dial?
He still finished like fourth or something.
Why did y'all dial back?
I think Roger was frustrated. I'm not sure he had the money. I don't know the details. And plus, he had switched from the American Motoring Program to Ford and Mercury in 76. Then he wanted to run some Chevrolets, so we kind of ran Chevrolets sometime and then Mercury sometimes. And
So you moved up to Pennsylvania to do this, right?
I tell people I might be the only guy that ever went from the south to the north to work in NASCAR.
Yeah. What was it like? Was it as difficult as it would be today to run a team that far away from the epicenter of the sport?
A lot of traveling involved, but we still managed to do it, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. How was it getting people to come up there and help you?
You know, we didn't have anybody up there that came from the backbone of NASCAR, but he had some good people. He had good qualified people and good fabricators, and he had a couple of engineers in there that they didn't get involved in NASCAR much, but they were there available if you need them.
Yeah. What was Marcus like to work with?
I got along good with Dave.
Yeah.
You know, Dave he was always a little different about his driving style was a little different. You know, he was one of those guys that just wanted to bury it in the corner and try to get going again. And you know, I think it'd been better if he'd learned how to just, you know, how sometimes you need to float it in and let it roll good. You know,
easy in, hard off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really knew. I never really had anybody explain Dave Marcus's driving style. I figured as an independent, he was kind of very conservative. But to hear you talk about it, he was pretty hard driver. I mean, there were times. I always found it funny, and you might even remember this because it was hilarious. They go to Dad would go. This was in probably the 80s. And even maybe like 89, 90, they had the Luminas, and Dave Marcus is driving his blue Lumina. They go out to practice at Martinsville, and Dad's out there running, and Dave comes out on the track, and Dad's trying to pass Dave, and Dave ain't letting him go, and they ended up running into each other and tearing their fenders off their cars in practice. And I was like, damn, Daddy. You know, what are you doing? It's Dave Marcus. Why are you and Dave even near each other? Why, just let him go, him let you go, whatever. What both of you too damn hard-headed. And so it kind of makes sense because Dave, he come in here and did a show with us a couple years ago, and I learned that he was very independent and stubborn, right? Kind of hard-headed to a fault. But a hard-working guy.
Oh, he worked. He certainly worked hard.
Very hard worker. What was so your time at Penske, you felt like was pretty influential to your career?
It was overall. I just learned a lot. I learned a lot from Roger. The first time I went to New York, Roger had a Cadillac because he had a dealership there in eastern Pennsylvania. We got in the Cadillac. He and I to New York City in that Cadillac. First time I went to New York City. So that was, you could see how he went from where he, at that point in his career and development to now. So, but just talked about things and business, and I just learned a lot from that.
After that season, you'd moved back south to work with Junior Johnson. How did all that line up? Junior Johnson had a ton of incredible talent at his shop.
He did, but Herb Nabb, who had been there quite a while, and Herb went on to work for Harry Renier in the new team they were developing. And Junior called me, and I'm very fortunate, actually, that they did, and contacted Tim Brewer at the same time. So Tim and I kind of went as co-crew chiefs. Yeah. But I remember we won the first race at Riverside with Cale, and we were on the way home. Back in those days, you rode big old wide-body jumbo jets. A lot of room, they weren't full. But anyway, we were stretched out, and we were in the back compartment, and Cale's up in the front first class. So he comes back there and kneels down at me, and he's kind of tipsy, he'd been riding home at night, and he said, eventually he'd always call me TC, but he called me Travis then because we hadn't been together long. And he said, Travis, I got to tell you, he said, man, I was really worried going into the year here. He said, but I'm in good shape. I feel good about it.
Yeah.
So he was comfortable that he had some people that could get it done.
Yeah. Herb Nabb had worked with him forever up to that point, and then Herb would leave the team and go to Rainier and other things. But you come in as a co-crew chief, and so I can't imagine that happening today, right? You and Brewer sort of sharing these responsibilities. How comfortable were you with that idea, I guess?
We got along well. We never had issues.
Yeah.
I mean, we just never had issues. And, I don't know that we didn't always agree, but we'd always, if we had to, we'd go consult with Junior and he'd kind of make a call. And at some point, I kind of did go to Junior and kind of wanted to be more the senior guy, in which he did do that, but it didn't change our status. Our status. We were still co-crew chiefs, but like if it came down to, are you going to put this sway bar in it? Tim may say, I want this one, and Travis may say, I want this one. We put the one in Travis.
Yeah.
That kind of final. So somebody had to have the ability to make
right.
a final call.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we arrived at.
Man, I can't imagine how hard it must have been to get some synergy there without upsetting
right.
the cart. Junior's place is pretty historic. Had you been familiar with his shop, I know he was up in the Wilkesboro area, and you'd been with LG and then Penske up north. When you went into his business to go in there and work and saw all the ways that they did things, was it a bit of a different culture?
It was a different culture, but the thing that I knew it had a winning history. And actually in 1971, Mr. DeWitt made a deal with Junior to run Benny at the last race at Texas.
Really?
So I went up and helped him get a car prepared at his shop and drove with the guy going to Texas and drove out there and back with that car. Yeah. It ran good. He qualified like on the front row, but it had engine trouble or something. But
yeah.
And so I had been there. That's the only time I'd actually been in the shop.
Yeah. What was it like working with Junior?
Junior and I got along great.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a no-nonsense guy. He never complained or fussed, but he was straightforward, laid it out. If you had an issue, just sit down and talk with him. He'd always listen. So we had a great relationship.
You'd win the championship in '78, and then, as a co-crew chief working with Brewer. Well, in the '79 Daytona 500, you were coming down the back straightaway. I see you shaking your head. I've had this conversation with Donnie, and talked about it with the King and Darrell Waltrip and everyone else had been there. In my mind, probably much like Donnie Allison, not one of your favorite memories, but in my mind, it was probably the most important race in NASCAR history because we had 16 million people watching. Y'all had an incredible race car. Cale was one of my favorite drivers. I loved his style. I loved the way he approached his job.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like you put yourself in the perfect position to win this race, right? And do you when you think about that last lap, is it still as frustrating today as it was then?
It's like any disappointing loss, But the thing that to me is the most incredible is on the fourth lap. The race was a little bit. The track wasn't really dry, but they had live TV, and Bill France was going to get that race underway. So they started the race, and the fourth lap, David and I believe Donnie and Cale all spun out through that mud, black mud in the back. So it misaligned the front end. So he was struggling. At one point, he was the slowest car on the racetrack, and he got 3 laps behind. Mm-hmm. So we would come in, and Brewer would adjust that had those A-frames with the strut rods.
Yep.
Brewer would adjust the strut rod. I would look down through the ball joints, looking, the kingpin angle, and put more caster in it. So we finally pulled more caster, worked on the toe end, and finally got it where he could go then. He could
Really?
drive it. He made those 3 laps up. And I thought, man, this is
Just
incredible. We're going to win this race.
Yeah, but like when they spin off a 2, there's just some slight contact. There's nothing, not that I could tell. I can't really recall there being real contact with a wheel. So going and spinning through the mud and doing
somehow it
something
misaligned that
bent
thing because he said,
up.
"Man, I can't
No
drive."
kidding.
So, I mean, I'm telling you, he was the slowest car on
Yeah.
the racetrack at one point.
Yeah.
But the cautions were falling. You know how it was, Dale.
Yeah.
People crash more on a good surface typically than they do on a slick surface.
Yeah.
You know, when you got really good grip, it's when they wreck a lot, and they were doing that pretty
Yeah.
regularly.
Y'all were finding yourself in perfect position drafting the leader when a caution would come out and Cale would be able to mash the gas and get a lap back. That happened a couple times right at some very lucky moments in the race.
Right.
Late in the race, you guys are sitting there. Basically, it's just between you and Donnie the last 20 laps or so. You've got yourself clear of the rest of the field. And every other race that's ever been run like that, especially in the 70s, the guy that's in second gets himself in position off a 2, puts the run together, goes by the leader, and beats him back to the line. I mean, it happened over and over and over. And so... But in this particular race, Donnie really threw a very aggressive block, put Cale down in the dirt. Donnie's like, I had every right to do whatever I wanted to do.
Well, he told people before the race Cale wasn't going to win that race.
Yeah.
So
why would he even know? Why would he say that? Were they already locked in?
Somehow they had what odds? I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
You know, but for me, I never had a problem with anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had one problem with any driver, other crew member in that business. Never in my life.
The story. So the wreck happens and all that. The fight happens, right? Did you see Cale after that?
I don't recall. I'm sure we did.
There was apparently with the snowstorm, just digging up a little bit in some history that I've done. Apparently, with the weather the way it was on the East Coast, a lot of folks didn't go home. They spent the night in Daytona and get up the next day and drive home.
I think we did the same.
Right?
That's what we did. Yeah.
Apparently, the guy that owned, drawing a blank, the guy that owned Donnie's car, Hoss, Cale saw Hoss on Saturday before the Daytona 500 and said, "Hey, with the weather, I might need a ride home. You're going by Timmonsville. Could I ride with you?" Hoss said, "Yeah." They had a crash, saw each other later that afternoon, and Hoss said, "I'm mad at you, but the ride's still good tomorrow." And apparently Cale and Hoss Ellington rode home from Daytona Monday, and they were there was a bit of a joke they told each other about trying to stay out of the grass on the way home. There was snow everywhere.
Yeah.
And Hoss said, "We'll be all right as long as you keep it out of the mud." But that was the times back then, and the little stories like that is what really makes it so fun. You talked about it being a simpler time in the garage, how people were easy to find, right? Not that it's a bad thing, but the garage in the 70s wasn't full of autograph seekers and folks with die-cast running every which way after drivers. Your drivers would walk in the garage, and everybody that was in there was working.
Everybody kind of communicated, but you only had like 4 or 5 people on a team car and stuff like that. And it was just like one big family thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so, you guys would end up putting it together and still having a couple of good seasons in '79. You stuck with Junior and Cale in the '80 season, which is an important year. But I want to go back to I want to get there in a minute. But I did a big research project on 1979 about my dad, and I know you spent a little bit of time with him around then, between 79 and 80. Dad's a new guy coming on the circuit, had a really good year as a rookie. What was did you even know about Dad, I guess, before?
Well, I knew I think the first race, was it 77 he ran the first race?
He ran 75 for Ed Degree at Charlotte.
When did he crash that car real bad at Atlanta?
Atlanta, that was 77.
77,
yeah.
Okay.
He was driving John Ray's car.
Yeah.
Buddy Parrott that we talked to last week was the crew chief.
Okay. Well, anyway, he was a contender.
Yeah.
But I remember it was around the August race in Talladega. I remember he called me, and your dad did, and he talked about me coming to work there. So we went down and had that black Trans Am he run around in.
Yeah.
Drove like a maniac. So we go over that old, what's that golf course over on, what's that Mallard Head.
Yes.
We'd go play golf 2 or 3 times. You talking about somebody fish out of water trying to play golf.
I bet.
It was pitiful.
Yeah.
But anyway, I spent time with him and enjoyed that. But
he was a terrible golfer.
Oh, well, we both were, and I never have been able to play. But anyway, ultimately I wound up staying with Junior, but, I might have made a bad choice not going with him. And even and beyond that, a second time when he was with Richard Childers, they called me and asked me about coming to work for him. Yeah. And I thought, I kind of want to have my own team, be my own boss. I just don't want to do that because I'm not sure I would give them what they needed.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had a great respect for your dad, and I always thought he was a friend. I thought he was a friend of mine.
Y'all would battle for the title in 1980 all the way to the end.
And we threw it away multiple times. I remember I was thinking driving over here. I remember the 1980 Southern 500. Not that we could have won it, but I remember that engine, when they warmed the engine up. I always thought I had a really good sense of hearing that engine. And I got down and I listened to it while it was running. And I told Junior and Harold, I said, I'm telling you, this engine does not sound right. But they didn't want to change it.
Yeah.
Run about 20 laps and poof. I guess it had a broken valve or something that I was hearing. And I mean, that's a race, and just multiple times we threw it away. But your dad did a great job. I mean, Doug was a young kid, and they did a great job winning that championship.
Yeah, I know. I did a series on 1979, and I want to do another one on 1980. Maybe we'll get you to come help us kind of pull out some of the memorable moments from that year when you were working with Cale. You lost the championship, but you had 14 poles that year. I remember in 79 you couldn't get a pole.
Right.
You went the whole year.
We did get one at Ontario.
Right at the end, the last race of the year. So the Busch Beer has come on board to sponsor Cale's car and the pole award. You went the whole year all the way to the end without winning a pole. I remember Darrell Waltrip had a bunch of quotes in the papers joking about Cale not being able to win a pole. But in 1980, it was a complete flip. You got 14 poles in almost half the races.
But one thing about it, 3 years running, Roe won an Ontario pole, never could win a race there.
Yeah.
Boy, that was a disappointment for me.
Dickies has been making quality workwear products since 1922, Dalton. That's over a century of craftsmanship, innovation, and unwavering commitment to quality. Born and bred in Texas, Dickies has a reputation of producing durable, functional clothing designed to stand up to the demands of hardworking people on the job, and it has stood the test of time for a reason.
Yeah, man, whether you're in automotive repair, hospitality, construction, or the medical field, Dickies has got you covered, literally. Their workwear isn't just about looking good, it's about performing under pressure and lasting through the toughest jobs. Dickies' legacy is evident in their core styles, like the iconic bib overalls, rugged coveralls, classic 874 work pants, and versatile jackets. These items have been staples in workwear for generations, designed to be simple, functional, and built to endure.
This morning, our very own James Brosan, who, works on our team here at the Dale Jr. Download, he was wearing Dickies pants. He's like, it's Download Tuesday. I got to wear something reliable. So, hey, man, shout out to James.
He works hard, and he needs a pair of pants that works hard, too.
That's right. Hey, head over to Dickies.com and use promo code Dale Jr. That's DALEJR at checkout to save 20% on your purchase. It's the perfect time to experience the quality and reliability that has made Dickies a trusted name for over a century. When it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a new candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Dalton, man, hiring and finding talent is that's a really important thing at Dirty Mo Media.
Yeah, it's something we take seriously here. We just had a big hiring wave.
Yeah.
And man, it would have been a lot easier if we had used Indeed.
Absolutely. Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed to connect with candidates faster by scheduling, screening, and messaging.
23 hires are made on Indeed every minute, according to Indeed data worldwide.
That's wild.
That's pretty crazy. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences. So the more you use Indeed, the better it gets.
And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Dale Jr. Just go to Indeed.com/Dale Jr. right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/Dale Jr. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hire? You need Indeed.
In 1980, you got a call from Humpy Wheeler. And Humpy was going to put together a team, or there was a team getting put together. Not Humpy. Humpy wasn't involved, but they were putting together a team. Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds. What do you remember about that conversation?
I remember him calling me. I said, I'll come down and meet. Went down and met with them. Had a good conversation. I was really impressed with Hal Needham.
Why would you leave this? You almost won the championship in 80 with Cale. Why would you want to go do something that was so outside the box?
Some of it was money.
Yeah.
I mean, I was offered twice the money I was making.
Wow.
And to a young guy, Dale, those days you made $25,000 or $30,000 is what you made.
That's the answer, yeah.
And if you start out making 65, that's a lot of money.
Big time.
But then Cale was leaving too.
Okay.
Darryl was coming
was,
in,
yep.
and I don't know. I saw it as a good opportunity to move forward, and I guess just like a crapshoot. But I said I'm going for it.
Yeah.
So we did.
So Hal Needham's going to start a team. Did you get to meet Burt?
We only met him once or twice.
Yeah.
So, but I think Burt more lent his name to the
to
effort.
some credibility. Yeah.
Credibility.
What did you know about Harry Gant?
I'd seen Harry. Now, Harry had raced Junior had a couple of occasions. He had run the whatever the second division.
Sportsman. He ran the 300 in one of Cale's cars.
Yeah, we had some experience with him. I remember Brewer wanted to take all the lead out of it. And I said, I'm telling you, it's not going to drive good. Well, we need to get it light. I said, it won't drive good. Harry begged him to put that weight back in that car. It wouldn't do it. And it didn't drive good. It's just out of balance. Sometimes if you being balanced is more important than how light you can be. So, anyway.
Yeah, so you would team up with him, and Junior gave the blessing for you to go over there. Y'all were going to buy engines from Junior.
Right.
Which is probably a great decision, to be honest with you, with a new team. And this would become the Skull Bandit, an iconic race car and driver, Handsome Harry. Y'all would race for the majority of the 80s together. Basically like building this team from scratch. I mean, literally nothing. One of the things that I read about this team is y'all were one of the first ones to start doing running data on your cars. Like this was in the early 80s.
Right, 82
you had
we had a big old clump of thing mounted in the car at Talladega.
Plugged into a computer,
Plugged in a computer. Oh, man, we fought NASCAR forever over trying to get that approved. But I think that after the first race, it wouldn't let us use it anymore.
But it was helpful.
Hal Needham had been associated with a land speed record, which I don't think they made it official because you have to run it both ways and blah, blah, blah. And Stan Barrett, who had driven it, apparently told him when they made the first run, he said, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't, so they just didn't. But Hal had an association with some good engineering, aeronautical engineering people.
And you mentioned Stan Barrett. He was also the first driver for the team.
He came to Daytona and raced. This didn't dawn on me at the time. That guy never drove a race car, but he raced his first race at Daytona.
Yeah.
And finished.
Yeah.
No, he actually crashed
on the last lap.
But he went through that whole week and didn't wreck that car.
Yeah.
He did wreck at practice, and we repaired it. But I'm thinking, holy cow, I don't know why it didn't seem just sensational to me.
Yeah. It seemed normal? And he
got in and drove it.
Yeah, he raced about half the season or so, and then eventually Harry would become the full-time driver, and Stan would dial back entirely.
You know, truthfully, Jay, I never to this day. We went to Michigan, had 2 cars in the trailer.
Yep.
Because we used same transporter for both cars. Somebody told me that Stan wasn't coming and he wasn't going to drive anymore. To this day, no one has ever told me why.
Yeah.
I still don't know.
No why. Yeah. I met his son, become friends with
Stanton.
Stanton. Yeah, and he's obviously raced in the sport a time or two over the years, but I've actually went out and hung out with him in L.A. many years ago, but great kid. And
did you do any stunt work with him? Did you show you
never
any
done
stunts?
no stunts. No, I don't want. I'm not interested in that part of the world, but not hearing all the stories that I heard about how banged up they get. But stunt guys are kind of like bull riders. You got to be literally fearless.
Hal Needham told me he had broken 53 bones.
Yeah,
in
I
his
believe
career.
it. So, what kind of owner was Hal?
He's terrific.
Yeah,
Everybody liked him, and you know his vision. This is entertainment, coming from the movie industry. He wanted to do something entertaining. For example, we had at one point cheerleader girls come dressed up cheerleaders. We were running in '84. I think the only year that Dale Inman did not work with the Petties, and they eventually beat us for the championship with Terry Labonte at Charlotte in the fall. Hal has this Cadillac limo drive-in. You know these guys down in the island that gets out this white stuff. He's a big old guys and they talk funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they call it. Voodoo Man.
Yeah.
He has a drive in the garage. This Voodoo Man gets out.
Like a stunt.
Yeah, and Dale Inman goes berserk.
Really?
He goes to Dick Beatty, whoever's in charge down there, and said, "You get this guy out of here. You got to get this guy." This thing really shook him up.
Yeah, I bet.
But Hal just, he was a guy of entertainment.
Yeah.
He wanted to add something, entertainment value to it.
So, you end up kind of developing that iconic program with the Skull Bandit and Harry Gant, and y'all had a lot of fun. Did a lot of good. That did a lot of good.
And won a few races.
Yeah, won a few races.
A lot less than we should have. But
I know it. Run second a million times, it seemed like. I remember that was a big deal, Harry trying to get that first win. Kept coming in second. In 1989, you decided to purchase Mach 1 Racing and start your own team. Why would you want to get into ownership?
That was always my goal.
Yeah.
When I was working for Mr. DeWitt, that was kind of I said, well, I can't be a driver. And I remember Buddy Baker told me early on, he said, you need to do what you do because you're going to have a lot better career, a chance to have a better career than you would a driver. So that was good advice. But anyway, I always wanted to kind of work the way to be an owner.
What was the Mach 1 team? Who owned that?
That was the old Skull Bandit team.
Really?
And
so Hal sold the team to you?
He sold it, yeah. Well, he didn't sell it to me. He sold it to a guy named Bill Edwards. Bill Edwards actually owned it in '89, and then I took over stuff in 1990.
Yep. You got sponsorship help from Junior? And a few
Junior helped us some.
Kind of steered some people toward it?
But Junior helped me get this banquet food sponsorship that came on in 1990.
Gotcha. Junior would do things like that a lot that people never would hear about.
Right.
He helped kind of put Childress and Dad together.
Yeah.
And he was always, it feels like that he was always sort of at the table, even though him and NASCAR were at complete odds most of the time. It seemed like that he was always behind the scenes trying to help things keep going in the right direction.
Well, I mean, you probably know it, but I mean, he's the one that took R.J. Reynolds to NASCAR to be the series sponsor. I mean, they went to him talking about sponsoring 4 or 5 cars, and he said you need to talk about look at sponsoring the series.
Yeah.
And truthfully, between you and I, and you probably know it, that saved NASCAR.
Yeah.
R.J. Reynolds and their sponsorship with Winston saved them.
Yeah. So pretty incredible. You'd hire Butch Miller, an incredible short track racer from the ASA ranks up north. Guy won anything he got behind the wheel of up there driving those Camaros, and ran 23 races with sponsorship from Winn-Dixie. How how come that I've always wondered why Butch didn't work out.
I'm not sure. I just think our cars were just too far off.
Yeah.
Because I knew that guy could drive, and I still think I just don't think we did something. And later, deeper into the season, you'd start finding little problems with your car that you didn't know existed.
Yeah. When you're the owner, are you still the crew chief?
I was then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How difficult was it to manage all that?
Well, there wasn't a whole lot to do. You know,
Yeah.
you didn't have, 10, 12 employees and things like that. And I always liked to work. I was one of those that's probably too micromanaged. I mean, I always felt like, man, if I do it, I'm going to do it better than the next guy.
Yep. You ended up putting Rick Mast in the car to finish out the year. Jimmy Spencer would be the driver in 91 with Banquet Foods. The team shut down temporarily in 92.
Yeah, we just ran out of money.
Yeah. And then you would go work with Bud Moore.
Yeah, Bud Moore some, yeah.
All right. Hud Strickland and Camel Cigarettes came on board in 94, so you get the team fired back up?
Well, that's a different team. It's a new team.
Really?
Yeah.
You created this whole new
Well,
team?
between Wayne Robertson and Junior was they went to Junior, and Junior Sepp got him, again,
Yeah.
and he said, you need to maybe get Travis to come and do this team. And so we did that, and that's.
Were you part owner in that as well?
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
And after a year or two, I bought Junior's interest out. A lot of people always thought Wayne owned. Wayne did not own any of that team.
Yeah.
Everything was above board. I mean, he was strictly a SME guy that provided the money and et cetera. But Junior did own part of it initially, but I bought him out after 2 years, I believe.
So Camel Cigarettes, an iconic race car. Jimmy was a driver. It seemed like drove forever for you. Winston would come on board at one point as well. I thought that y'all overachieved. Had some really, really strong runs in those
man,
cars.
we just couldn't win. As an owner, the only race I ever won as a car owner was whatever that companion race is to the Winston. What do they call it now? The All-Star race. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the only race we ever won as an owner. And man, I was disappointed because we had cars to win. We should have won some other races. We just couldn't do it.
Well, I mean, there were some times when that car really had good speed.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
In the latter years after we came on with Carl Oss and I had Kmart, we had some cars that would go, but we just couldn't win races.
Yeah. So Jimmy Spencer gets replaced by Joe Nemechek in 2001. Between these seasons, Kmart goes into bankruptcy. That put the team in a bit of a bind.
In 2002, right after we'd hired Joe, we get a call from one of the vice presidents. He called me first, and then he called Carl Haas, who was my partner. And he said, we're going to have to stop. We can't go whatever. And then he called back the next day, and he said, well, we didn't realize we'd paid you X number of dollars. You got to run the first 4 races for us. So that was kind of the end of the deal.
So before all that, though, you did have Darrell Waltrip kind of finish out his career driving your cars. And that was that was kind of you had 2 race cars on the racetrack. Darrell driving one, I think Todd Bedine.
Well, actually, Jimmy drove, and then
Jimmy
Todd actually took over for Darrell after Darrell left.
Yeah. So Jimmy and Darrell were teammates.
Yeah.
How was that working out?
They did okay.
It seemed like a good pairing.
Well, they did okay. I mean, but Darrell was so different. Jimmy would drive whatever you got him, and Darrell, we just never could get him comfortable or satisfied or whatever. We just, he wanted hired the people that your dad had down there working with Steve Park and him and to come up to work, and that didn't work out. I mean, we just did everything under the sun. I told people we probably spent 50% more money on Darrell's team we did Jimmy's, just trying to get him
going.
Something that he could do. We just never could get it worked out.
Yeah. And so Todd would take over, and Todd would actually be able to get some pace out of the car. He's a little hot shoe driver. Every time Todd got into something, he seemed to go pretty fast.
Well, he'd make it go fast.
Yeah.
I mean, he might hit something with it, but he'd make the darn thing go fast. And sometimes I think he tried to do it just to make Darrell look bad or something.
Yeah.
But and that's not I'm not criticizing it, but that's not the best way to approach things. You know that.
Yeah. Again, Joe Nemechek would get in the car, and then you'd have some struggle with the partnerships. You had a lot of different drivers kind of coming and going. Todd and Jeff would split the ride at one point. then Haas and Carter would merge with Sam. How do you?
Sam Bell-Navis.
Yeah.
The Haas, Carl was out at the end of 2002.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Johnson, who worked with Rick, and I'm sure you remember him. Nice, super nice guy.
Yep.
Put Sam and I together. And actually, Jimmy called and said, this might be an opportunity because he knew I was in trouble and was out of business.
Yeah.
So anyway, Sam and I ran in 2003 and had the Army National Guard. And
at 54.
In that
Todd
54,
drove.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason number 54, if
Yeah.
people don't know, there are 54 guard units.
Oh, really?
That's why they wanted number 54.
Yeah. Well, that was a nice sponsor, but and a good-looking race car. I remember that him and Kenny Wallace having a hell of a wreck off too at Michigan.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
But you made one more attempt at forming an alliance with Torque Speed. Who's Torque Speed?
That was a group out of Great Britain that wanted to do something with it. He
Really?
came over here and he wanted to do all this press conference and all this. And I said, man, we need to get somebody to put the money where their mouth is. And I didn't push that. And that was really all about much to do about nothing.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So I was done at the end of 2003 when the National Guard went to Jack Roush.
That was it.
That was it. I said, I can't compete with these guys. I think I'm probably done, and that's pretty much it.
Man. So one of the cars though that I always one of the races that I always think about when I think about you is the Daytona 500. I believe is 1999. The last time they ran the big Monte Carlos down there, you showed up with a white car, number 66.
That was that Mach 1 car with
Rick Mass driving the car. I think you'd had, I think y'all were sponsorless.
Right.
And somehow went down there and nearly won that race. Had Darrell Waltrip not had that extra gas tank or whatever, that extra 5 foot of gas line in that Tide ride, Dad or Rick Mass would be Daytona 500 champions in that race. Talk about that weekend, because I would just want to say, man, I feel like, as for you as a car owner, y'all were this. It became this Cinderella story that even as a kid or even as a young boy, you instantly sort of pulled for that team. Because I loved Jimmy Means. I loved the independent. I loved seeing somebody do all they could with very, very little, because I knew what Dad had. I knew what was in his hauler. I knew what was at their race shop. And so I love to see these other people try to make something out of nothing. And you were watching a team go down there and run up front with some of the biggest teams without a decal on the car. And it was easy to want to pull for y'all. And Rick was a great story too. Really, hard luck racer trying to get opportunity, finally getting him an opportunity in a couple of them ride. And so talk about that weekend when y'all showed up.
First of all, we went and tested with him, struggled, came home, did some work with the engine, went back and got it where it could run good. But we also had we were on Hoosier tires, which is a little bit of an advantage. But I always tell people, of all the years I went to Daytona, and you know how stressful that week, those 11 days can be. That was the smoothest, easiest speed weeks I ever went to.
Really?
Yep. Qualified 11th with that car. It drove good, didn't have issues, and ran good in the race. And if I'd really wanted to make a real serious gamble, we still might have won. But I knew it was going to be too close on gas. And I'm thinking, this is a big race. Rick has done an incredible job. Why would we throw away finishing pretty good with the risk of, 30% chance you might win the race and 70% chance you're going to finish 25th?
Yeah.
So let's just stop, get it done and make the deal worthwhile.
Yeah. And how much did that performance that day help lure that partnership?
It helped a lot. It helped a lot. But one of the proud things to me, Scholes had left and kind of left me hanging, actually. Not in an ugly way, but that's the way it worked out.
Yeah.
They hired Don Perdome, was driving for Skoll in Copenhagen, at that time.
And
so after that race,
drag racing.
Drag racing.
Yeah.
Don Perdome came and found me up in that transporter to tell me that he was impressed with what a great job we'd done and just wanted to congratulate me and whatever. Dale, you know, that kind of stuff really means a lot to somebody. Because he took the effort to go find me to tell me that. Because, you know, I'd known him through the school days.
Yeah. When you're, I guess in 2003, or after 2004, how much involvement in the sport did you have beyond that?
Basically none. My son ran some Hooters Pro Cup races, and we ran ARCA for a year, and he ran a few nationwide races.
You were helping with that?
I'd go around some. Yeah, I'd help him with some of it. And I always tell people the most fun I ever had racing was that Hooters Pro Cup. I just enjoyed that. But that's after that's
probably
all the
felt
racing.
like what racing used to be back
Well,
then.
it was. It's a one-day deal. You just go. It's all in one day. But that's all in the racing. I don't watch NASCAR. I don't even
You
keep
still
up
don't,
with it.
you don't watch it? Really?
I love Formula One. I don't know why I'm so interested in Formula One, and I like to watch those Indy cars.
Yeah. That's a surprise.
And I'm disappointed Max is struggling so bad with whatever.
Yeah.
He's all up. Man, they're struggling.
So, when you walk away from the sport, was it an easy decision?
It's kind of, you. First of all, it's like you hit you a ton of bricks. Say, you know, I'm in business today and tomorrow I'm not. So, you know, we tried for about another year. We worked in marketing, trying to find ways to put some programs together. Dale, you will not believe, and maybe you will, the nut jobs call you constantly. This guy, I'm coming, I got money, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do, oh, Lord have mercy. We were inundated with that stuff for a year.
Why not go work for somebody like you did with Bud Moore?
Nobody asked me to. But I didn't pursue it either.
Yeah, you didn't.
No, I didn't pursue it.
Yeah. Would you? Yeah. Might have you stuck around if you had taken a GM job or something at a place like Bud's.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. At
So-
one point, Roger called me when we had Winston, and he had Marlboro, and we knew that tobacco companies were pretty much good on the way out. And he said, "Why don't you just sell that stuff and come back and work for me?" And maybe I should have done that, but I didn't.
Man, you continue to live close by. I remember, you know, you had that shop up there on 40 right off the, you get off 77 and go a couple miles, and it's over there on 40. Now I think Front Row Motorsports is in there. Who's in there?
Well, actually, no.
Or is it-
Front Row leased one of them for a long time.
Yeah,
but
they did. Who's
some
in there
truck
now?
team is, and a guy named Tim Self bought
Yeah.
one of the buildings, and he builds, you know, he's got like a factory of these air machines, and I think there's some steel truck races goes on, but I haven't been up there in 2 or 3 years, so I don't know.
You live in Denver with your family where you built the house back in 1986.
Built in '86 when I was working for Haldane, we lived in the same house.
And you don't watch a lap of NASCAR.
I mean, if Linda, my wife, is always watching, I might walk by and see something going on.
That's crazy.
It's just, I'm just different.
Yeah.
I'm just a
You are
different kind of guy.
You are.
But I've never been a self-promoter, you know, just kind of, I always felt like if you do your job well enough, and if it's recognition, you'll get it.
Yeah.
You don't have to go out and try to seek it. It'll come to you.
Yeah. Well, man, I you know, always wanted to talk to you. Always kind of curious about, you know, how you viewed your life and your career. And I, you know, you said it, your own words. You are kind of different. You are built a little different. And some people can walk away from something like that they've been doing for decades without a ton of heartburn or heartache. While some struggle, right, finding purpose or finding, you know, getting their second chapter going or whatever the next chapter is.
I won't say it wasn't easy, or I won't say it was easy, but you know, it's very frustrating. But I said, you know, that's the hand that's dealt. But you know, one thing that pops up to me, talking about money and sponsorships. It was not until I was out that I realized how much money the manufacturers were putting into these teams.
Yeah.
I knew we had good sponsors, but I told when I was partnered with Carl Haas, I said, I don't know where the money's coming from. These people spend twice as much money as we spend. And lo and behold, I found out the manufacturers are basically matching the sponsors in most cases. And we never had that.
Yeah.
So that's not an excuse, but we were operating pretty competitively on far less than a lot of people were.
Yeah.
So I'm pleased about that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I would be pleased. You know, won a championship with Benny Parsons. I think everybody, you know, respected Benny as a broadcaster.
Benny was a better racer than a
Yeah.
lot of people realized.
I agree. I think people respected him. I think that they appreciate who he was, a gentleman racer, and a hard racer, could win races, but raced as a gentleman.
He raced within his limits.
He did.
And he did well at that.
He did. Won Daytona 500 and crew chief Cale to a couple championships. I mean, your career is remarkable,
Well, thank
to
you.
be honest with you. And then to go into the car owner side of it, kind of when, I guess in the 70s when you got with LG and you wanted to, you're aspiring to one day be an owner, that really looked like a achievable goal or the obvious goal. But there was sort of this big odd crossover as you're headed toward trying to be a crew chief or trying to be a car owner. The idea of being a car owner is getting more and more challenging.
Absolutely.
The financial, landscape. There was a lot of money going into the sport around that time when you bought your team and created your team. But it was the sport and the expense of the sport was skyrocketing as well. So to do it like you did and do it as long as you did is really impressive.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I've really enjoyed talking to you, Travis. Kind of interesting to see what you've been up to. I mean, when you leave here, where are you headed?
I'll go back home, probably take a nap, go for a walk. If it's warm enough, I might go swimming.
Yeah. What else do you do with your
I
time?
don't do a lot.
Really?
There's always something to do around
Yeah.
there. It's something to repair or fix or
Heck
go
yeah.
somewhere, and I go grocery shopping and
how
all
did
that.
how did you put yourself at 74 years old? How did you put yourself into financial security?
We saved, and just like we built this house in 1986.
Yeah.
I could have built a bigger house, but I saved my money
Yeah.
because this is one thing about being in the motorsports business at that level at that time. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody.
For sure.
And I said, we'll save. And we had those properties, we could sell those properties.
Gotcha.
Of course, we still had, we had some mortgages on them, but we still made some money in the
Yeah.
sale of them.
Man. Well, I appreciate you coming all this way and talking to us, man. It's been
Thank you.
nice getting to know you. I mean, I can't believe one of the guys that's been in the sport as long as you have, for us to have never really sat down.
Well, I was thinking about, man, you must have run through them all if you got down to me.
Shoot. That ain't no way to think about it. I've always wanted to talk to you because, I do know there's people in the sport that I've studied or that I've been around. I feel like I know most of their career, but you're a guy that I didn't know. I knew you were different, and I didn't really know what made you tick.
Kind of more of I guess, introvert.
Introvert, yeah. But you were successful in several scenarios, and I'm glad you came to spend some time.
I want to say a couple of things about your dad.
Yes, sir.
I think it's just a great guy. Always, everybody respect him. And I remember at Daytona, they had the drivers would have to go to this little hospital thing for whatever check-in before the season started.
Yeah.
There used to be that
You
little
had like a physical.
right there off inside the fourth turn.
Yes.
So he walks from there, and he comes brushing by me, and I feel something, and he just keeps going, and I reach, and he slid a commemorative knife in my pocket. Just stuff like that he did that for people just because he was either liked them or appreciated them or
Yeah.
saying hello or whatever. But that's a part of Dale Earnhardt that people need to know existed.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he was. It's kind of like Junior Johnson. There was always kind of something he was doing behind the scenes, and he
Right.
didn't need anybody to know about it. He just wanted to be doing what he was doing, or thought somebody, deserved some recognition, or saw an opportunity to be an assist to somebody. And the whole, I think he learned that from the industry, or people like Junior Johnson, and just being all those people sort of feeding off each other.
But he appreciated what he had and
Yeah.
what he had worked hard to earn. I think he
Yeah.
he really appreciated that. He didn't want to flaunt it.
Yeah.
He just appreciated being that fortunate and it being in that position, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Well, man, I hope you have fun the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming and joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right, Travis Carter on the Dale Jr. Download.
The Dale Jr. Download is brought to you by Viator. Dalton, I just used Viator just not too long ago, man. I was in Nashville. I needed to find something to do. I had a free day, and holy cow, did it come in clutch.
Yeah, you texted me about it. You were really excited.
I was pumped. So I went on the Viator website, just searched Nashville, picked the date, and I got admission to the Country Music Hall of Fame. I'm a big country music fan. That place, it meant a lot to me.
Yeah, it was great, man. I'm glad to hear that you went. And, I'm glad that you used Viator because it's a tool where you can plan and book travel experiences around the world. Their app and website make it easy to explore 300,000 plus travel experiences so you can discover what's out there no matter where you're traveling and what you're interested in.
Viator helps you plan the perfect travel experiences for you. Their free cancellation helps you plan for the unexpected, and a 24/7 customer service so you know you'll get support at any hour if things aren't going as planned. Download the Viator app now and use the code Viator10 for 10% off your first booking in the app. Find travel experiences for you. Do more with Viator. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Dalton, what's something you love to learn?
I like learning about myself.
Oh,
reading books
that's
about
a good
psychology
one.
and stuff.
I was going to say guitar, but yours is a much better answer.
Well, it's applicable for today's sponsor.
It is, yes. Well, kids are always learning and growing, but as adults, sometimes we lose that curiosity. I want to ask the listeners this, what's something you want to learn? Gardening, a new language, or maybe even how to beat your best friend in bowling. Therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder because your back-to-school era can come at any age.
That's right, man. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
Hey, we both benefited from BetterHelp. I've talked about, it helped me get through some insomnia. I was just staying up at night thinking, so I gave BetterHelp a try, and it worked for me, man.
Yeah, man. I go to therapy every week, and I wouldn't be the same without it, so give it a try.
Absolutely. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Dale Jr. today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Dale Jr.
The NFL on CBS streams live on Paramount Plus all season long. Why Paramount Plus? Stream the NFL on CBS and you can watch your local game live every week and catch featured national games. That includes pivotal afternoon matchups, the Thanksgiving game, and the postseason, all streaming live on Paramount Plus. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to sign up today. Another great season of the NFL on CBS awaits, streaming live on Paramount Plus.
All right, so we're wrapped up on Travis Carter, man. I'm gonna tell you that was definitely a different Dale Jr. Download interview. I can hear it now. Some of our critics on the internet will be saying that this one was a little lackluster, but I disagree. You might have to do a little homework to accompany with this podcast. Go back, look at some of the statistics, go on Racing Reference, maybe watch some of the races that Travis was a part of, to put yourself in the mindset of a guy like that. I've done that, right? So for me, that was entertaining. And he's under the radar, wants to stay under the radar. Like, he's gonna go home, he ain't gonna do nothing. He don't need to do nothing. He doesn't need, I need racing. I need it. And he don't need it anymore. He's not mad at it. He don't need it. He don't miss it. We asked him if he'd sign the hood on the wall for us to auction off at the end of the year, and he's like, where can I sign it where no one will see it? He just doesn't want any. I'm surprised he come to do the interview, to be honest with you, because I don't think he asked when this show was going to air, and he was disappointed to find out it would be soon. But Travis is different. He said it, and I was glad he did because I didn't know how to say that without insulting him. But he's different. He's always had there's been this sort of thing about him that I couldn't quite put my finger on, and he had been with some really good teams. He had done good things, won a championship, won lots of races as a crew chief, but he was like the least one. He was under-celebrated, under-acknowledged. Now, people like my dad, right, understood his worth, because they would go to him and say, hey, I want you to come over here and work with me. I think we'll be better if you come to work with us. He got hired to go to Penske's and get that deal off the ground with Bobby Allison. So, I mean, there's people in the industry that knew his value and knew his worth, but he never really, like when his ownership stuff started sort of falling apart and the opportunities were leaving, he didn't seek out another role. Like, he could have easily been a general manager or a shop foreman or something. He would have been perfect because he knew all the ingredients for success, and could have made a little money and sat back and told people what to do. Never hardly had to lift a finger, and done that for a handful of years, probably managing some pretty successful teams. But he didn't seek it, didn't need it, didn't want it. Had somebody called, he might have done it. But 74 years old, kind of another version of one of the old heads from back in the day, just like last week's Buddy Parrott. We had a back-to-back sort of peek into the history of the sport from two totally different personalities, completely different. And Travis wouldn't badmouth anybody. Travis had a great relationship with everybody. And I truly believe he believes that. I don't think, I mean, he did say that Todd Bodine was prone to hit things, but, and that he might not have, Todd might have been a little too worried about making Darryl look bad when he drove the car versus when Darryl drove it. But, for the most part, he didn't get into a bunch of pissing matches or, didn't get into any competitive spats with other crew chiefs or other teams or anybody of any employers. Seemed pretty level-headed. But I wanted to talk to him, never had, and now I have. And now we've checked that box, and he goes into the library with the rest of them. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll do a little homework on Travis and his career and some of the teams that he was involved in. It's always fun kind of dipping back into the history of the sport and watching some of those races on NASCAR Classics, and just always good to peek back at that part of the sport and remember it fondly. But before we get to the white flag, I want to thank Ally for bringing us the guest segment every single week. They do such a great job supporting us here at the Dale Jr. Download, and we're always better off with an Ally. And now that I've had a conversation with Travis Carter, I think I could call him a friend. No matter what you're saving for, whether it's race tickets or a new car, a new home, we're all better off with an Ally. Now let's get to the white flag.
White flag.
Dropping Sunday, and every Sunday, is the Teardown with Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi. You'll want to listen to that show as they cover everything they saw and experienced at Darlington this past weekend. And Denny Hamlin got the job done Monday. It was Labor Day, and everybody else, at least the door bumper clear guys, were all probably drinking and doing nothing. Denny Hamlin was working, getting his podcast finished. Thank you, Denny. Action Detrimental dropped Monday. Dirty Air and Door Bumper Clear came out Tuesday. And obviously you're listening to this show, but also Speed Street with Connor Daly and Chase Holden. That dropped today. Connor got a podium finish for the first time at his new team, and a lot of excitement around him. He'll have some great guests with Pato O'Ward and Scott McLaughlin. And tomorrow coming out is DJ D Reloaded, not with Ask Junior. It's going to be Ask Amy this week. And then Dirty Mo Doe comes out. They're going to be handicapping the field and giving you all the best bets for the upcoming race at Atlanta. A new episode of Andrew Curlin Went There. That's a new show. Andrew Curlin Went There. With guest Christopher Bell. That's out on the Next Level YouTube page right now. If you want to go watch Andrew and Christopher have a great conversation. We've got a 5-star Apple review for you from Brett Hogan. Dale does a great job interviewing people who this casual NASCAR fan might not have never heard of, and it makes me want to go back and watch old NASCAR races and relive those great moments. Well, hey, that's what we were just telling you might want to do. Brett is right. When we have a Travis Carter or Buddy Parrott on, as we're talking about these races, man, take a little note. Maybe I should watch that race. I just heard the crew chief kind of talk about it for a minute and give me his perspective and memories on it. Now I'm going to watch that on YouTube or whatever it may be. The 75 Daytona 500. There's probably a very good documentation of the 75 Daytona 500 and that race and how that won out for Benny Parsons. So you might want to check that out. But I hope everybody has a great week. That's going to do it for me, but don't forget DJD Reloaded tomorrow with Ask Amy. So, yeah, I'll be on that show a little bit tomorrow. And then, we're off to Atlanta. We'll see you. Check out Dirty Mo Media on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram.
At Ashley, you'll find colorful furniture that brings your home to life. Ashley makes it easier than ever to express your personal style with an array of looks in fun trending hues to choose from earth tones to vibrant colors to calming blues and greens. Ashley has pieces for every room in the house in the season's most sought-after shades. A more colorful life starts at Ashley. Shop in-store or online today. Ashley, for the love of home.
Now, Two Pigeons and Coach Prime bemoaning the fact you can stream DirecTV satellite-free.
Look at these humans watching pro football on DirecTV without a satellite dish.
I've been watching them watch football for so long, I feel like I could coach like you, Coach Prime.
Coaching ain't as easy as finding your games on DirecTV. How you gonna beat a corner blitz on 3rd and long?
I'd probably just fly over it.
Actually, that's pretty good.
Stream football without a satellite dish. Visit DirecTV.com.
I do, yes.
How old is she?
She is 6.5. She's in first grade.
You just wait about 10 years, big boy. You'll understand. You'll understand what I mean. Yes, you do what you're told, man. Hey, dude, I've been married for 40, whatever, some years, right? I mean, how long have I been married? Got married in 78. However many years that is, I don't know. But, yeah, I learned long ago. Just go along, especially when you got twin daughters, right? Just go along. Just go along.
I love it.
Makes life much easier, guys.
That's so true. Happy wife, happy life, and I guess happy daughters. We have to think of a rhyme for that one. But we got people jumping in now. So folks who are watching, get your questions in. I said hi there, even though I'm not Kenny Wallace, but I'm representing Kenny Wallace. So that's not Kenny, that's me. But let's start off here, Rick. How about just big picture thoughts on Darlington?
Yeah.
I thought that was a hell of a finish.
Yeah.
I was rooting the last couple weeks. I wanted to see Kyle Busch get into the playoffs. It didn't happen. He's running better, but what a great story with Chase Briscoe.
Yeah, it was. I mean, how can you can't script a better deal, right, for the final race? I mean, that's what this whole thing's about. I mean, you've got two guys that are going for the win and going to get into the playoffs, dude, at the end of that race. You know, one of those two that you didn't think was going to get in the playoffs are going to get in the playoffs unless they wreck each other the last lap, right? And then you've got you got a whole story with Kyle Busch. You know, how did he get? He went from the villain man to the most loved guy on the racetrack. Now it's wild. It's wild how this sport works, right? I mean, you go. Who was it? Carl Edwards asked somebody in the driver introduction earlier this year what happened when Kyle Busch came out and all the fans cheered him instead of booed him. And like Edwards said, what the hell happened to him? He used to get booed all the time, right? It's weird how that works. But, man, for the final race and Briscoe winning that thing and, you know, the storylines on that deal. I mean, Haas shutting down, right? And all the guys working and still putting it out there and putting it together and they win the race. I mean, that's a big deal, dude. I mean, a lot of time, and we've seen this, man, the driver's going to leave at the end of the year or the crew chief's leaving or whatever. The team's getting disbanded for the next year. It's not going to be the same. And I've seen it, man. People give up. They give up, right? And they just don't run good the rest of the year. This proves fortitude with that team. The guys that work on that for Haas. I mean, it's a big deal to win that race for those guys, right? I mean, they're all changing jobs or out of jobs or whatever's going on next year, and then they come up and win this race. And then for NASCAR to have the criticism they get for the points deal, which I think is unfounded now. I mean, we've got our we've got our system in place now, and that's what it's going to be. And it adds excitement, it adds drama, it does all those things. No, it's not what it used to be. It's not the point system of old, but it's a more exciting point system. And Sunday night proved that at Darlington, man. Just a neat deal for all those guys, really. Now, then you take somebody like Harrison, right? And Burton, he's been catching hell about the work. He's the last place points guy, right? But he wins the race and gets in the thing, so people are criticizing that. But that's what should be because of the rule.
All right, Rick, we lost you a little bit. Can you hear me? Maybe having some technical difficulties. Can you hear me, Rick? Can you hear me, buddy? Having some technical difficulties here, folks. Get your questions in. Okay, I see you again. Can you hear me now, buddy?
We did lose you.
Having some internet issues, folks. It happens. We lost his signal a little bit. Can you hear me now, buddy? I'll tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, Rick, I'm going to remove you real quick and try to jump back in. Okay? All right. We're going to have Rick hopefully come back in. Thank you guys for watching. Hey, technical difficulties. It happens every once in a while. So let me see if I can get Rick back in. There's a bunch of people in the queue to ask questions. 47 of you watching. Every once in a while, this happens, folks. So just stick with us here real quick. We're going to try to get Rick back on as soon as possible and jump in. So let's see here. Got some questions. Jeff Henson, love the racing. I will ask these to Rick, folks. John Oaksis, your opinion on classic tracks losing a date to go racing in Mexico? Great question. A lot of talk about that one as well. Stick with us, folks. Hey, this happens every once in a while. We're going to try to get Rick back on. Let's see here. I'm going to text him. Try to jump back on. And this is what happens when we go live. Every once in a while. This is the first time, actually. First time we've had technical difficulties. So we'll get him back on. Let's see. Brian, we'd have some boring races without stage breaks. That is true. Okay, let's see if we can get the Rickster back in here. Okay. Rick. Rick, can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me, buddy?
Yeah.
Your signal's kind of weak.
Dude.
It was real strong at the beginning. You got me now?
Crap.
Somebody wants to know, Rick, why are you so cool? And we're going to ask him that.
Yeah, whenever we get back. It's not working.
Okay. I can see you. The signal's not great, but I can see you and hear you. So you got me now?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All good, man. Hey,
I don't know. I don't know.
All good.
We've got a strong internet signal.
Okay, cool. All right. I am going to ask you, Rick Mast, why you're so cool. And now you're looking stronger. So it's all good. I can't remember where we left off. And don't worry, I'm going to edit this all back up once we repost it on YouTube and podcast. So it's all good. This happens, man. It's technical difficulties. Yes. So I believe you were talking about specifically Harrison Burton, how some folks are going, hey, this is essentially a last place driver who's making the top 16. This isn't right. What do you think?
Well, the Harrison Burton deal, they've been catching grief, right? He's last place in points, and he's in the playoffs now. And people are fussing about that. But listen, when you go to Daytona in February, everybody knows the rules. The rules are if you win a race, you're in the playoffs, right? So, it's it doesn't mean anything. I mean, now how he does in the playoffs, maybe he can turn it around and show.
And get hit Neto. Indeed, Neto hit in the hand.
15th time that Neto's been plunked this year. Boy, not the start that Leiter was hoping for.
Neto's in scoring position now.
And that's high in the air. Out into short left field. Duran coming in. Smith going out, but Duran will take it.
Wild pitch from Leiter, putting Neto at third base.
Anthony Rendon.
As he lifts a fly ball to right center field. Should be deep enough to score Neto. Langford is over, so is Garcia. Garcia has the better arm, but he's flat-footed as he makes the catch. Neto comes home and scores the second run. 2-0 Angels. Mickey Moniak stands in with 2 out, nobody on. 2 runs home for the Angels here in the first inning.
And there's a swing and a miss. He strikes out Moniak, his first strikeout of the night.
On the mound for the visiting Angels is the 34-year-old left-hander from Las Vegas, Nevada, Tyler Anderson, the 9-year big league veteran, 10-12 with a .355 earned run average.
We'll see Simeon, Smith, and Young up at the top of the order.
Pops this one up on the infield as Brandon Drury gets under it at second base and retires Marcus Simeon.
Josh Smith, who's back in the lineup for the Rangers.
Fly ball to right center. As Drury goes out, Teodosio takes over coming in from center field to make the catch. So the first big league action for Bryce Teodosio, and he handles it perfectly.
That will bring Josh Young to the plate.
Swing and ball popped into shallow right center. Going back on it, making a nice running over the shoulder grab is Brandon Drury. That was a snow cone, and he holds on to it, and the inning is over.
2-0 Angels as we go to the top of the second inning.
And we have the roof open. Rangers playing in the natural conditions today. And as far as the conditions go, it is a little breezy.
Hoppy's been trying to grow that mustache for about a week and a half now. It's barely coming in.
Swing and a miss. Fastball at 97 at the top of the zone. And that pitch right there from Leiter is incredibly tough to hit. And the more consistently he can command the fastball at the top of the zone, the better off he's going to be.
Brandon Drury.
Here's the next pitch. That's lined the opposite way. That's going to roll on out to Garcia, and that's a good job of hitting there. 2-strike single for Drury. 1 out base runner, and Nico Cavadas will be the next batter.
And that's lifted out to center field. Langford angling back and toward left field and make the catch.
Drury returns to first, and that brings up Teodosio. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Leiter strikes him out on a fastball down the chute. And that ends the inning. So a couple of strikeouts for Leiter. He strands a 1-out single. We go to the bottom of the second. 2-0 Angels.
Dolis Garcia leads things off here in the second inning in a 2-0 ball game.
Strikes out here against Tyler Anderson. He went with the heater in. Tied him up.
And Wyatt Langford will be the next batter.
Well, Langford strikes out here against Anderson as well. So Tyler Anderson, back-to-back punch-outs here in the second.
And Nathaniel Lowe will be the next batter.
Nathaniel Lowe on the cutter. That's strike 3 as O'Hoppe throws to first, and Tyler Anderson strikes out the side in the second.
Right, top half of inning number 4, middle third coming up here for the Angels, who lead it 2-0.
Leiter has already struck out 5 career high at the big league level.
Anthony Rendon first up here against Jack Leiter.
There's a bouncer past the mound to second. And a good play by Marcus Simeon. 1 away.
And that brings up Mickey Moniak.
And he'll bounce one right to second base. Making it easy for Marcus.
Hoppe drilling his 19th home run of the year yesterday. Number 20, if he gets there, would be the first from an Angels catcher since 2008.
And that's hit hard out to left field. Duran racing back toward the corner. Leaps and makes the catch. Bangs into that fence. And that ends the inning.
Ezekiel Duran throws himself into the padded wall in the left field corner and comes away with out number 3. What a catch. Langford ready to go here as we start the home half of the 5th.
And Langford smashes it down to third, and Rendon, I don't know, just kind of whiffed. It hit his glove, but he didn't squeeze it, and so Langford is on. And that'll be an error on Rendon.
Langford is on board here. Nathaniel Lowe, the batter.
That's outside, ball 4. So an error and a walk. And this weekend, anyway, we're going to call this a rally.
Duran is a guy that's very aggressive.
And that ball's blasted out to the alley left field. That gets down, base hit. 1 run is in. Lowe heading to third. They're going to wave him. Duran around second holds. Here comes the throw, not in time. And now Duran can head to third base. He ties the game with a double. Moves up on the throwing error. And we've got a new one.
Well, it wasn't a 3-run home run, but just a 2-run double. This is just a rocket into the left center field gap. 1 hop past the outfielder. Nathaniel Lowe doing a great job. Watch his route right here coming around second base. Tony Beasley sending him. Great call right here. You see B speeding up.
So Leiter walks Neto. Second walk issued by Leiter. And Bruce Bochy up the top step. He's going to go to the bullpen. So Leiter goes 5 innings and a batter. He allows 2 runs, both earned on 2 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts for Leiter. And he's going to give way to Chafin.
Angels 0 for 1 with runners in scoring position tonight.
In the dirt, it's getting away from Heim as it rolls away. And here comes Neto trying to score on the wild pitch. Throw home, not in time. It gets away from Chafin, and now Shonowell ends up at second base on the play.
Boy, this is a breaking ball, and it kicks down, and Jonah Heim has no idea where this baseball is. And when he finally identifies it's towards the Rangers dugout down that first base side, Neto alertly paid attention.
Shonowell goes to third base with Rendon bouncing out.
Now, this is a situation here. You want to see Moniak get that runner home.
He lines it to right center field. That's a base hit for Moniak. Off the left-hander to score Shonowell. And the Angels lead it 4-2.
That'll make Mickey Moniak real happy. It wasn't squared up necessarily, but he got it in the air and got the job done.
Can still be dangerous in a spot like this. Tying runs are on base thanks to back-to-back walks. Now Medeiros will try to face a veteran and a tough hitter in Simeon here with 2 out and 2 on.
Oh, he lines out up the middle. That's a base hit. It gets a run to the plate. Kelly hustling to third, and he's in there on the single by Simeon, and the Rangers cut it to a 1-run deficit. That's a huge stolen base. Now a base hit to give the Rangers a lead. This ball lined out into right field, base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Simeon. The throw cut off. Simeon scores, and Smith tagged out just as he has given the Rangers the 5-4 lead. Get Garcia. He does move the runner. Young is over at third base now.
You got a big RBI guy at the plate in White Langford.
And that one is in the air out to left field. Coming on, Ward goes into a slide. He missed it. Young scores. Heading to second, Langford. And he hustles in for a double.
Rangers add to their advantage and now lead 6-4.
Another RBI. It was going to be an RBI either way. If Ward catches that, Young tags up, but Ward unable to catch it, and Langford able to turn it into a double, hustling out of the box.
So Yates and the Rangers 1 out away here. Nico Cavada coming up.
And a swing, and that ball's belted out to center, but going to hang up. Jankowski makes the catch. This one's over. A perfect 9th inning for Yates. And the Rangers come from behind to win 6-4.
Boy, that offense sure woke up from the 5th inning on as the Rangers started putting some runs up on the board and a couple of big 2-out RBI base hits by Marcus Simeon and Josh Smith.
A welcome sight for the Red Sox. They get Trevor Story back tonight.
Well, he missed almost the whole year. You see April 5th, he hurt his shoulder. He's back early, and he's going to be nice. He's going to swing the bat. He's playing shortstop, a position they've been in need of, and he is a welcome addition to the Red Sox lineup.
Cooper Criswell on the mound tonight for Boston.
Well, the overall numbers don't look great, but his last few starts have been really good. His last 3 have been outstanding. Now, he doesn't get to go deep in the games.
Line to right, and that's in for a base hit. Benintendi aboard with 2 away for the White Sox in the first inning. So a 2-out knock here for Benintendi, and that'll bring up Andrew Vaughn. Here's the fly ball headed out towards deep left center field. Struck pretty well. It's back and it's gone into the monster seats. Andrew Vaughn with his 17th home run of the year takes Criswell out of the yard, and the White Sox jump on top 2-0 here in the first inning. All this coming with 2 down. Garrett Crochet, the best the White Sox have to offer. Not lately though.
No, he hasn't been good. But the last 10, it's hard to judge though because he's not out there long enough to really get settled in.
Line to left, and that's in for a base hit. So the single to left field for Jared Duran to get it started for Boston in the first inning.
Rafael Devers, 2 hits last night.
Devers will hook this into right field for a base hit. Heading first to third is Duran. Maybe beyond. They'll stop him as into second goes Devers with a double at second and third. Nobody out for Boston.
Here's Refsnyder, who's 2 for 4 against Crochet.
This is grounded to second base. Sosa slides to his right. He'll fire to first, but in the back door from third comes Jared Duran. Red Sox on the board. Cut the White Sox lead in half. And Devers moves over to third base.
So here now Tyler O'Neill, who has not been great in these spots.
To deep left, down the line towards the pole. It's gone. 2-run home run for for Tyler O'Neill is 26th. Red Sox on top 3-2.
Off the Plymouth Rock sign, past everything on the monster seats. It's a 2-run blast for Tyler O'Neill. He put it in play and then some. It's a 2-run bomb, and the Red Sox right away grab the lead back 3-2.
Connor Wong, the catcher, he's playing first base tonight. Romy Gonzalez just stole second and third on consecutive pitches.
Oh boy.
This is driven to left. Is it high enough? No, but it's high off the wall. And from third, Gonzalez will score the 4th Red Sox run. RBI wall ball double for Connor Wong.
And the Red Sox are mashing Crochet. It is 4-2.
Pitch walk worked by Andrew Benintendi. And just like he did in the first inning, he extends the frame.
Vaughn already with 1 home run tonight, and here he comes again.
There's a liner that is fair. Down the first base line, kicks off the box seats. Heading first to third is Benintendi. And the White Sox have runners at the corners here with 2 down in the inning.
As it is, it's a long single for Andrew Vaughn, and Sox again with a 2-out rally, and that'll bring up Gavin Sheets.
2-1 pitch on the ground, right side. Gonzalez will go to first for the out. It ends the inning, so Criswell gets out of the jam.
Gus Farland's had a nice year for the White Sox. Fastball, slider mainly.
Takes over for Crochet. 5 hits, 4 runs, walked 1, struck out 3.
Grounded toward the shortstop pole and through to left field, a base hit. Nicky Lopez had no chance at shortstop. O'Neill hit that one hard, 96 off the bat. He's 2 for 2.
That brings up Romy Gonzalez
to right field, and that's going to get in and roll around a while. From first, Tyler O'Neill's going to be waved around, going to try and score. Here comes the throw to the plate. He'll be safe. Ball gets away. Red Sox take a 5-2 lead. Robinson couldn't catch it. It gets away and safely tucked in as Tyler O'Neill. Up to second base goes Gonzalez. Trevor Story, a strikeout victim in the first inning. Runner goes. The throw ends up in left field. The shortstop diving is Lopez to knock it down, and they will keep Gonzalez at third, but they are running tonight, are the Red Sox. Looking for more. This is flipped out to center field, falling fast, in for a hit. From third, Romy Gonzalez will score the 6th Boston run. Red Sox on top 6-2. Trevor Story's back, and he drives in a run.
2 straight singles to right field allowed by Criswell. It's Fletcher reaching first, and Sosa going to second base.
This is to short, could be 2. Story shuffles to second. A little trouble getting it out of the glove for Gonzalez, but he gets it done. It's a DP. 6-4-3 on the twin killing.
The second walk for Criswell to put runners on the corners here in the 4th.
Back to the top, and Nicky Lopez.
By the mound, it'll go to the shortstop Story by himself. He'll tag the bag. Inning over. So 1 out in the 5th, and that'll bring up Benintendi. Line off the glove, and Gonzalez at second base. He went lunging into the air, but that one's off his glove and out to right center field. And Benintendi's on for the 3rd time tonight, his 2nd hit.
Runner at first for Vaughn.
And this one chopped up the middle, could be 2. Story will flip to second for 1, on to first, it is 2. So the double play gets him out of any trouble.
Here is O'Neill, homered in the 1st.
High fly ball, deep left field, off the bat of Tyler O'Neill. It's back, and it's very gone. Clears the monster in left. His 2nd home run of the night. Red Sox take a 7-2 lead.
That is his 6th game with 2 homers this season. They come in bunches for TO, and that was absolutely breathtaking. Majestic blast over the National Car sign, out onto or maybe even over Lansdowne Street. Wow.
Back-to-back strikeouts after the leadoff walk to Jansen. Here is Rafi Devers, who swings at a pitch that might have hit him in the foot. He went all the way around, so that's a strike, and the pitch got all the way to the backstop.
And they're going to go to review. It's going to be a manager's challenge, I believe. Umpires will get together first.
It's one of the worst swings you'll ever see.
They're going to put the runner back at first base. So dead ball. Jansen will have to go back to first. There's a ground ball up the middle. Diving the shortstop Lopez from his knees. Gets it to second. What a play. Stop at second base. First 2 White Sox have reached here in the 7th inning. Fly ball headed out into the raindrops towards deep left center field. Duran and Rafaela. Rafaela in front of the track will throw to third. Impressive. Showing off that arm from center field. Benintendi on 3 times in this game. Has singled twice and walked and scored a run. High fly ball hit out towards deep right center field. Back by the triangle and into the bullpen. 3-run home home run for Benintendi in his return to Fenway Park. Different color socks. Hits his 16th of the year. And the White Sox right back in it again. It's now 7-5 Boston. 3-run home run for Benintendi. We're trying to piece together the end of this game as Justin Anderson comes in for the White Sox. Swing and a miss for Wong, and he strikes out for the first out of the 6th inning. That's 4 straight strikeouts for White Sox pitching. And the first out of the bottom of the 8th.
Here's Trevor Story with the bases empty. And
swing and a miss for Story, and he strikes out, make it 5 straight Ks for White Sox pitching. 2 down to the 8th.
The inning continues as Jansen walks for the second time.
Cedar Rafaela. Well, the Red Sox could use a little room here.
Is strike 3 called. He took a fastball right there, and the inning is over.
Kenley Jansen into the game, trying to close the door on the White Sox.
Well, cutters. Kenley Jansen has had a borderline Hall of Fame career. He's got a lot of saves, and his whole thing is he throws cutters.
Fly ball left field, struck pretty well. Duran going back onto the dirt of the track to make the catch in front of the wall. Out number 1 of the 9th inning.
Here is Luis Robert Jr. Good to have him up without anyone on base. And a swing and a miss. He got him. This is vintage Kenley. 93 up above the hand. And they're 2 away.
Yeah, so far so good with Kenley Jansen. That's the cutter. If he can elevate it like that, it's hard to get on top of. You miss it underneath.
And here comes the suddenly red-hot Andrew Benintendi.
Fly ball right field. Looking up into the raindrops is Tyler O'Neill. He's there, and he makes the catch. Red Sox win. Benintendi flying out. First time they've gotten him out tonight. A 1-2-3 9th inning for Kenley Jansen, who will pick up the save.
Fitting that Tyler O'Neill caught the last out. Kenley Jansen with the quick save. Tyler O'Neill with the multi-home run game. The Red Sox win a must-win game if they're going to have any chance to make the postseason.
Ten Olympians from Braves country were honored on the field, all of whom competed in the 2024 Paris Olympics. They were all smiles, guys. Despite really competing on the biggest stage, they were so humble, so grateful to represent the United States. It's just the 21st player in baseball to ever do this.
The only player in Braves history that has a longer streak, Dale Murphy, 740 games back in the 80s consecutively. Over the last 25 games, the starting pitching has been better than any in baseball. The rookie, Spencer Schwellenbach, he doesn't feel like a rookie anymore, Frenchie, but boy, it's been a great year. First pitch is hit out to center field. Harris coming on, he's got it!
That's playing like a champion.
Oh, he makes every play out there. One pitch in and already a diving grab for number 2-3.
As he passes the test on the first pitch of the game. Brilliant play.
Hit high in the air out to left center. Looking like a 1-2-3 top of the first for Spencer Schwellenbach, and that's exactly what it is. Great start for the rookie.
One of the hottest pitchers in baseball right now. Barrios has won his last 5 starts. He's never won 6 straight starts in his career. This will be his 29th start of the season. The Blue Jays have won 19 of those 28 previous starts.
Darno in that second spot, and it looks like it works. All the way out to the left field wall. Travis with that lightning speed.
He's got to be on third there.
A double for the Braves catcher.
Just the schedule changing as of last year. Swing and a miss as he got him to chase.
Now the trainer and the manager can come out to see if they can help him out. He's kind of pointing to his forehead. Like he might have a headache or something. Yeah, that's what it is. He's been sick. Remember, he was sick in his last start. And Schneider alluded to the fact he's still having some lingering effects of that. Might be up in his sinus area, but he said, I'm okay.
Barrios payoff pitch. That misses outside.
0-2 pitch. Check swing. No, he did go around, says Malachi Moore. Strike 3 on the strike to ball slurve. And Barrios punches out Laureano.
Yeah, everybody checking on him. The manager, the pitching coach, the trainer. At least he's smiling right now. So
Smiles
that's a good sign. Yeah. Where he's throwing right now. He didn't want to leave any ball game.
So on to the second, and it's a battle of Spencers right here. Spencer Horwitz and Spencer Schwellenbach to center field and hit well. Harris still racing back. It is gone. Spencer Horwitz takes one out to straightaway center field, his 10th on the season, and it is 1-0 Blue Jays.
That ball just kept going and going. I thought Michael Harris had a beat on it.
Blue Jays Spencer won it.
And now Wagner lines one into left center for a base hit. Over to cut it off is Kelnick, and Wagner aboard with a single.
Spencer's 0-2. And there's a strikeout. Got a piece, but into the mitt of Travis d'Arnaud. Matt Olson, he wants this. He's in foul ground, and he will take it. Top three here at Truist Park. Let's take a peek at our Synovus Get There feature. All right, Frenchie, take us through this.
Well, this is the Tom Glavine stat, right? Throws 2 strikes in the first 3 pitches. Look at that. 77% of the hitters.
And that's going to get through into right center. It'll be a base hit for Lucas. So he is now 8 for 17.
From the stretch, Schwellenbach's pitch. Swinging a liner up the middle and laced into center field.
And back-to-back base hits for the 2 men at the top of the order.
Here's Vladdy now. Guerrero hit a fly ball to left his first time up against Schwellenbach.
Bouncer to short. Arcia to second for 1. And they turn 2.
Yes, sir.
6-4-3. Very nicely done by Williams on the turn.
Big double play there, man. That could have been with Vlad Jr. up. See if Luke can get on here and turn that lineup over again to Michael.
Going to the other side of the bag, Wagner. And a wide throw. And Luke Williams will reach.
And this is hit in the air to left and hit fairly well. Loperfido is going back, but he's got room. He is running. The pitch is swung on and missed. The throw down is not in time.
So he's on second. Marcell Ozuna's up. It's 1-0 Blue Jays. 2 outs, bottom of the third. 0-1. Swing and a ground ball to short. Backhanded by Clement. Looks at the ball, throws over to first, and beats Ozuna to end the inning.
Spencer Horwitz, he homered back in the second inning.
And they will battle again here to begin the fourth.
1-1. Swing and a high fly ball. Deep right field. Laureano looking up. He's done it again. Horwitz leaves the yard to right field. He's got both of the Blue Jays runs in this game. It's 2-0 Toronto.
I'll tell you what, Spencer Horwitz is digging the long ball right now. His second of the night.
For that lefties tonight, 5 for 9 with 2 homers.
Madison Barger rolls one up the middle. A nice play made out at second by Williams.
Pulled him off the bag at first. Olson made a good stretch, but it was so far away that when he stretched for the ball, he lost contact with the first base bag.
So that'll be an infield hit for Barger, and it'll get Ernie Clement to the plate. First pitch swinging and a high fly left center. This is deep, and it is off the wall. Barger's around third, and he will come in to score on an RBI double by Clement. And it is 3-0.
So a tough fourth inning for Schwellenbach. And he's going homer, single. Got the double play. Then an E4, a double. Lots of contact here in the fourth inning against Schwellenbach. Trying to limit the damage.
And he lines one to left center, and that's down. Another run is in to score. Loperfido is on his way to second base, and he is in there with an RBI double.
Again, these lefties right now, man, they're taking this ball out over the plate and driving it.
Seen that the last couple of games here. This one got in on his hands, but he's going to fight it off and loop it into left for a base hit.
And it bounces in front of Jared Kelnick for a 1-out single. Spencer Horwitz has had Schwellenbach's number. 2 homers.
Another well hit ball to deep right, and this is going to be off the wall. Guerrero is on his way to third and is running through the stop sign and will score. It'll be a double for Horwitz. The ball gets away and he's on his way to third. 5-0 Blue Jays.
Wow.
You can't officially say Horwitz is seeing Spencer tonight.
And not good for Atlanta. There's really not much margin for error at this point, and here is Wagner.
And now a dribbler up the first baseline, and that's going to get another run home. Horwitz comes in.
6 runs, 10 hits, and no runs for the Braves.
Bottom 3 in the order for Atlanta: Urshela, Arcia, Williams. Single to right center here to start the bottom of the 5th for Gio Urshela.
2 out, and Michael Harris the batter. All right, here we go. Let's get back into this.
Fair. That's going to be an RBI double for Michael Harris, but he's going to have to hustle. He's out at second. Now,
the run just crossed.
And it just crossed. You are exactly right.
Braves are on the board. It'll be a single and a 9-6 put out.
Jose Barrios working into the bottom of the 6th. When he is pitching well, there are no patterns. The sinker's really, really good, but you can't sit on it because here comes the slurve. Here comes the change. Line drive right field. Lucas is there, makes the catch, and the inning is over.
What a day it was for Jose Barrios. Ran into a little bit of trouble in the first inning, but really settled in after that. He goes 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts.
Up the middle, a base hit for Clement. And this is going to get down for a base hit. Second hit of the night for Loperfido, and Clement racing around to third. So the Blue Jays looking to add on here in the top of the ninth. Back to the top of the order for Nathan Lucas. There's his third hit into right center. Clement can jog home.
And it's another hit for Nathan Lucas.
Loperfido the runner at third, Lucas at first, 1 out, and Guerrero hits a ground ball to second. There's 1, and safe at first is Guerrero. So it's a fielder's choice and an RBI, and it's 8-1.
Well, there's more.
Here's one down the right field line. Another well hit ball, and it's off the wall. 4 extremely well hit balls tonight by Spencer Horwitz.
Yeah, he's had a night for sure.
The pitch. Swing and a looper to center field. That's going to get down. Guerrero scores from third. Horwitz stops at second. 3 hits for Will Wagner. An RBI on that one. He plates Guerrero to make it 9-1 Blue Jays.
1 in the second, 3 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and now 3 in the ninth here for the Blue Jays.
Braves could use a 10-run inning.
Need one. And this ball game's been no fun tonight, so looking like a rubber game tomorrow.
We talk about without Riley, without Acuna, and the injuries, no Albies. Atlanta this year is 20-38 when Ozuna and Olsen don't have an RBI.
Do it. Matt Olson the other way. Leadoff single. That will get up the middle. Back-to-back hits for the Braves here to start the bottom of the ninth.
At first and second with no one out.
Kelnick turns on it. 3 straight singles. Ball is bobbled and right. And Matt Olson is going to be sent after the bobble to make it 9-2. 3-1 to Orlando. Line drive, base hit. And the bases are loaded.
And now action starts to stir in the Blue Jay bullpen. Yeah, they certainly didn't envision getting somebody else up in their bullpen when it was 9-1 going to the bottom of the ninth.
Ground ball, and it gets past the diving Barger. Braves will circle the bases, scored 2. 9-4.
Well, I hate to say it, but you remember that game in Colorado. I don't know, we don't like to remember it, but we could maybe remember for a different reason here.
With Harris at the top of the order coming up here for the Braves as things get a little more interesting in the bottom of the ninth.
Obviously, they'll give up a run to get an out. And they'll give up a run to get an out. Ground ball to second, so in to score on the play is Arcia. To third is Williams, but Harris grounds out 2 down.
2 outs now. Run comes in to score. Arcia up to third base goes Williams.
Bounce to short. Ernie Clement will make the play, and that is the ball game.
The Blue Jays bats go wild in Atlanta.
Well, the Braves come at them late in the bottom of the ninth, but too little too late.
New England is now on the clock.
Vinny, the Brewers are the only team in baseball that have yet to allow a 4-game losing streak at this point in the year. For the Brewers at this point is we just need to see those bats going. 8 total runs during this losing skid that we've seen.
This was really cool. This was moments ago. Luis Peralta walking to home plate to exchange lineup cards with, on the Milwaukee side, big brother Freddie. That's awesome. That's great stuff.
Yeah, last time out, he had another no decision for Tobias Myers. He's had a number of them recently. That was against Cincinnati. 5 2/3, 8 hits, 3 runs.
Charlie's going to lead things off. This is pulled to right for a base hit. So Charlie, who was 2 for 3 earlier this year, Sully, against Tobias Myers, starts out the evening with a line single to right.
Here's the young shortstop Ezekiel Tovar.
In the air to center field. And that's going to hang up there for Perkins, and there's the first out of the ball game for Myers.
Brenton Doyle, the story last night with the remarkable play to end the game.
Here's a grounder out to second. Going to be tough to turn it up, and safe at first. Doyle can fly. Just like last night, he legs out a potential double play ball.
And here's Ryan McMahon, the third baseman for the Rockies.
There he goes. Cut fastball for a strikeout. Went back upstairs to get the K, and he puts up a 0. in the first inning. Now the Brewers coming up. And it has been a struggle for Blog making his second start since being a September call-up. Jackson Churio in that leadoff spot tonight.
Bounds one to third. McMahon has to get rid of it quickly. High throw, and dealing with the sun a little bit. Michael Toglia makes the play for the out.
On the ground to McMahon again. Long throw off the backhand. Chugon.
And 2 men are out here in the first for Willie Adames. Adames to right. Got a chance. It is slicing. It is gone. How about number 30 for Willie Adames? An opposite field rocket out of here. Milestone homer for Adames. 1-0 Brewers in the first inning.
What a year it's been. 30 home runs, 101 RBIs. There you go. Good start tonight.
Gary Sanchez, the designated hitter.
Now Sanchez will stand there and watch this one fly. Wow! A bomb out of here. As high as it was far. And the Kraken cracks one out of here to make it 2-0 Brewers.
Back-to-back go the Crew. Sanchez with his 10th of the season. This has to feel good for that first base dugout.
Toglia draws the walk to start the inning.
It's Brendan Rodgers. We did not see him in game one last night.
0-2. And that's in there. Called strike 3. Fastball 96 miles an hour. And the Rockies have 2 men aboard here with 1 out in the second.
That'll bring up Nolan Jones.
There's a swing and a miss. Back upstairs with the gas.
And that's that high fastball you were just talking about. Likes to ride it up.
And the switch hitter Drew Romo. And that's in there. Myers, as we showed you in the open, he buckles down when runners are on base, especially in scoring position. Puts up a 0, makes it 2-0 as we go to the home second.
So Brewers get their leadoff man aboard for Sal Frelick.
Pitch to him is hit to the gap in right center field. Doyle's on the move, sprinting back. He dives and he makes the catch. Somehow he holds on. And back to first base goes Perkins.
It's ridiculous. I've run out of adjectives to describe how great he is defensively.
One away for Joey Ortiz.
One hopper to second. Rogers has that. Second to one. Tovar on to first base. Got him at first as well. What a turn by Tovar at second base. And no damage done after that leadoff single.
95-mile-an-hour paint job by Tobias Myers, who strikes out the side in order in the third. Doyle is rung up. This is pretty brilliant stuff. So Terang at first with 1 out. It brings up William Contreras. Here's a drive and a right. Backing up Cave onto the track. Cave at the wall. That ball's gone. Opposite field. 2-run home run, William Contreras. And that doubles the lead in the third inning. It's 4-0 Crew. Contreras is 21st, the Brewers' 3rd home run in as many innings. And here's Ryan McMahon.
Mac drives it to deep right center field. You can forget about that one. Touch 'em all time. A lightning bolt that ricocheted off a sign above the wall out there in right center in the Rockies bullpen. And the Rockies are on the board. Ryan McMahon's 18th homer of the year.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 94-mile-an-hour heat out away from the left-handed batter. And now the last 8 outs that Tobias Myers has recorded have been strikeouts.
So a 2-out single for Sal Frelick.
You got the right-handed hitting Joey Ortiz.
Ortiz down the line. That's a fair ball into the corner. It goes. Frelick off to the races. He will score. Joey Ortiz, an RBI double. And again, the Brewers strike with 2 outs. 5-1 Milwaukee.
Nolan Jones starts off the Rockies.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a changeup down and away. Ortho ASAP strikeout for Myers. That's 9 tonight. It ties his season and career high.
Sam Hilliard, who's probably less than 100% himself after taking a tumble last night, has come into the game in center field after Brenton Doyle made a remarkable catch. Stayed in the game for a few innings, but Doyle's out of the game.
So prior to his last at bat, Our crew captured this, and yeah, he's having some trouble with that hand.
And he struck out looking too.
Ezekiel Tovar leads off against Tobias Myers. Bouncer. Oh, nice play. Ortiz to his feet in time.
Wow.
Joey O can pick it.
Some kind of defense in the infield, isn't it, for the Brewers? Wow, what a play. That is a big league play right there. Fully stretched out, able to grab it, keep it in the glove, and the tough part of it, getting up and making a long throw to first.
That'll bring up Sam Hilliard for the first time tonight.
And Hilliard strikes out. Fastball got him. Number 10 for Tobias Myers. Career high in strikeouts here in his rookie year. Back-to-back 10 strikeout games.
And that'll bring up Tolia.
And that one's right there. Burned off the outside corner. What a pitch. Tobias Myers continues to shine. Career high 11 strikeouts. 5-1 Brewers as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Well done, Tobias.
Sam Hilliard.
This ball's well hit to right. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Deep into the second deck for Sam Hilliard. 6th home run of the year for Hilliard.
This was a 1-iron. It was crushed. 110 miles an hour.
One of those once-in-a-lifetime moments as Freddie gets a chance to watch his brother. He loves it. Inside, how can you not be rooting for your brother?
I think you have to be, right? You can see the smile on his face. You know his teammates are giving it to him, but you still want to see him have success out there.
He got him with high heat at 95. So Bowers goes down.
A lot of strikeouts in that Peralta family, isn't there?
2 away for Blake Perkins.
And this ball in the air to right. Goodman got a good jump. Makes the catch, and that's all for the Brewers in the 8th. So we'll go to the 9th inning. The Rockies trail 5-2.
And Luis Peralta continues his excellent work.
Williams in a save situation. He has 8 of his 9 chances after missing the first 4 months. And make it 14 as Devin Williams wasting no time with Tolia. And a swing and a miss. Williams with another strikeout. He's thrown 7 pitches. 6 of them for strikes and 2 Ks already.
Everybody to their feet at American Family Field. And now here's Hunter Goodman.
Ball game. Devin Williams lights out. 3 up, 3 down, 3 Ks in the 9th. And the Brewers snap their 3-game slide. They win it 5-2. And a magic number of 10 to win the National League Central Division.
Nice sunny day outside in Houston, Texas, but we are under the roof here inside Minute Maid Park. Diamondbacks and the Astros.
On the season at 28 starts for Yusei Kikuchi, a 4.24 ERA. He has 177 strikeouts in 150 2/3 innings pitched. He's one of the better pitchers in strikeouts per 9.
And that is popped up on the infield coming in. Both Bregman and Pena. Bregman the call and makes the catch to the left of the pitcher's mound. And there is one away. Carroll waiting for a 1-2. Here it is.
There we go.
Kikuchi gets him swinging. He's still over in this series today, and the first strikeout for Kikuchi.
This is where you need, you mentioned it, those 3, 4, 5 hitters to come through.
1-2. There's a base hit right back up the middle, and a good 2-strike stroke by Grichuk to get the D-backs' first hit of the ball game. Here is Walker now for Arizona.
There it is. 2 strikeouts for Kikuchi in the first, off to a good start.
Here's your D-back starter today, left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez. Coming off his first loss as a Diamondback, 92 pitches to get through 4, beaten by the Dodgers on Monday.
Yeah, I think he's very anxious to get back out on that mound and really deliver performance.
Better against Jose Altuve, who was on base all night long last night and leads it off again for the Astros. He went after that fastball up, got some good chase there, and got the weak pop-up. Perdomo has got it.
Rodriguez 1-2 count on him, and look at Yordan Alvarez putting one in left field, and he is getting extra bases as well. He's going to get in there for a double.
We love talking about the home runs, but the fact that he's able to get on top of this pitch and shoot it the other way shows how good that swing is to go out there and rack up hits.
Well, here's Alex Bregman. Good to have this bat back in there. We talked about the matchup here. 3 home runs in his career against the starting pitcher.
Lines it to left. Grichuk on the run, and he's got it just shy of the Crawford boxes out there.
Astros a 1-out double, but that's all. And we head now to the second inning.
Well, the Diamondbacks, as Torrey told us this morning, just need to find some footing against left-hand pitching. Right-hand bats are thin, and teams are lining up lefties to face the Diamondbacks, and that has been the way to beat them. And that one bounces into right. Suarez full speed into third, and a couple of base hits open up the Diamondbacks second. And there's a line drive to the opposite field. Off the bat of Newman. McCarthy stops at second. Suarez home. And it's 1-0 Diamondbacks.
That is just vintage Newman. I mean, he just spanks this ball the other way. Takes a fastball on the outside third. It was elevated about mid-thigh high. And just shoots it that way. What a beautiful swing this is.
3 consecutive singles open up the second against Kikuchi. For the first 7 Diamondbacks have base hits, and they have a 1-0 lead.
Astros unable to turn 2. There's 1 out in the inning with runners at the corners.
0-1. Herrera swings, fly ball to deep right field. This is hit well. Going back is Gamble, and he'll make the catch. Tagging from third and scoring is McCarthy. And forget the lack of power. That one driven to deep right center field, and Herrera's sac fly makes it 2-0 Diamondbacks. That's a huge result for the Diamondbacks. Not only was that deep, but that's opposite field stuff right there from Herrera. And now here's Marte with a man at first.
Gets him. Yusei Kikuchi out of it. 2 runs on the board, though, for the Arizona Diamondbacks. We head to the bottom of the second.
What's been happening with Erod lately, as Torrey Lovell was telling us today, is it's one inning or one set of batters that's causing him to get that elevated pitch count. And this might be the situation he's going to have to figure out how to navigate here.
And that's a ground ball softly hit left side, charging and fielding it. Perdomo to second for 1 on to first. That's a double play. That'll get a run in for the Astros as Altuve scores. It's 2-1 Arizona.
The Diamondbacks did a good job through the first 3 innings. Kikuchi was up to 51 pitches. Now so far only 4 in this here 4th inning.
All of a sudden Kikuchi has now retired 8 in a row. Here is Newman.
Newman's a banger, and this one's on its way. Kevin Newman way up there, and it's gone. Kevin Newman 2 for 2. They get that run back, and it's 3-1 Diamondbacks.
We got some Crawford seats, I think.
That's Kevin Newman, member in St. Louis. He hit one into Big Mac land. This one almost made the train tracks out there.
And Kikuchi goes, shoot, can I have that pitch back?
You say goodbye. I say hello. Thank you.
3-1 pitch.
And that is popped up, shallow left side, going back, Pena and Bregman. Pena, step into foul ground, makes the catch on the run to retire the side.
3 consecutive. There's the subset of batters. Walk, hit, batter, walk. They're loaded now with 1 out, and Brent Strama's out to the mound.
We got bases juiced for Chas McCormick, who could use a big hit. He gets one through. Chas McCormick's going to drive a couple home. Victor Caratini scores. Jake Myers is in. And the Astros have tied things up here in the 4th.
Gamble goes to second on the play. Astros have had Rodriguez on the ropes all game long and finally get a big hit. Rodriguez long look at second, now the 1-0. And Alvarez smokes it into right field for a base hit. Racing around third, Gamble incoming home. The throw to the plate by Carroll is cut off. Gamble scores. Jordan gives the Astros the lead with his 3rd hit of the game. 4-3 Houston.
This the guy that couldn't hit at home?
Well, we put that myth to rest.
Yes, we have.
Watch this. He was very efficient through 3, and we're still going in the 4th. 2-2 is fair at third. Gino can't pick it up, and everybody's safe. Now they're loaded for Bregman, and the long inning gets longer.
Count is full.
That pitch is high, ball 4. McCormick scores. Bregman gets an RBI, and the Astros have a 5-3 lead.
What a disaster of an inning for Arizona.
Eugenio Suarez leads off the 6th against left-hander Yusei Kikuchi.
The pitch swung on. That's belted out towards left field to the Crawford boxes. It goes. Gone. Home run for Gino Suarez, number 25. And the D-backs get one right back. It's now 5-4.
That's his 5th home run in his last 9 games.
I'm telling you, with Kikuchi throwing this high majority of sliders, guys are just sitting on it right now, and Suarez certainly was sitting on that slider.
couple of singles lead off the Houston sixth. One thing that Yainer Diaz does, and he's already done it once, is hit into double plays. He leads the American League in ground to get a double play.
And that's a ground ball up the middle and throw for a base hit. On his way to third, McCormick. He gets the way from Gary Pettis. McCormick scores. Altuve to third. Yainer Diaz comes through with an RBI single to make it 6-4 Astros.
Yainer takes a deep breath. He's like, wow, it's been a heck of a game.
Here's Bregman. He had a bases loaded walk his last time, 0 for 2. Bouncing ball softly hit up the third baseline. Jess Fair gloved by Suarez, and he throws it high and pulls Walker off the bag. Altuve scores, and the Astros lead it 7-4.
We'll take that.
Jeremy Pena to the plate.
Jeremy Pena drives one to right field. It keeps going, and it's in the bullpen. Jeremy Pena, a 3-run bomb. The Astros have opened it up now against the Diamondbacks.
JP3 going Oppo Taco for a big blast. What a great pitch to do it on, too. It was right down the middle.
And once more, just like last night, the Houston home run has blown the game wide open. Herrera, who moved up on that one, is at second, and Marte's aboard at first. And it's a good start to the seventh. While you're down 6, you need some runners, and so far so good. Kicks high off the mound, and Altuve's got it, but he has no play. Herrera's across, and Walker gets a run home. It's 10-5. Boy, that thing went off the ramp like Evel Knievel.
It really did. See where that ball hit. It hit the pitcher. Back of his heel, and it went straight up in the air.
So the Diamondbacks figure a way to stay alive in this 7th.
So 2 out, nobody on for Jose Altuve, 2 for 4 with a double, a couple of runs scored.
Hey.
Jose Altuve, get into the Crawford boxes. Altuve with number 19 on the year.
He just keeps getting hits. Jose's amazing.
Altuve now 1 homer shy of his first 2020 season since 2017. Back-to-back strikeouts for Blanco, and the Diamondbacks are down to their final out.
If you can get a guy like this, a Blanco's, bridge gaps and stuff like that, it's a big deal.
Fans get to their feet. The 0-2 to Walker. Swing and a miss. Struck him out on a slider away. Blanco strikes out the side.
Diamondbacks slide in September continues.
And the Astros pick up the 11-5 victory over the Diamondbacks.
Now on the clock, the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's going to be Southpaw Brady Basso on the bump for the green and gold. First big league start for the left-hander. We told you we've seen him a couple times out of relief. Standard 4-pitch mix, fastball, curveball, slider, changeup.
Vierling, Ibanez, and Green for the Tigers. And the pitch, Basso throws, and a curveball ring him up. And that's the way our ball game begins. Perfect pitch. And that'll bring up Andy Ibanez.
And Ibanez tracks the curveball, drills it into left, and that's what the Tigers are going to have to be able to do today, Dan.
Ibanez to third, 2 out. That'll bring up Justin Henry Malloy. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and Malloy, a drive to right, pretty well hit. Butler going back, it's playable, nearing the track, right to the edge of the warning track, and he makes the catch. So Brady Basso gets through his first inning of his first major league start. The Tigers fail to score.
Hannafy is the opener today. Brant Herter begins to loosen down in the Tigers bullpen. He'll be the bulk man.
Butler, Rooker, and Brown for the A's against Brennan Hannafy.
Boy, 26 games of hit streaks between Butler and Rooker as Hannafy deals. It's a cut and a miss on a fastball away for strike 3. And so Brennan gets his first strikeout of the game, and there's 1 down for Brent Rooker.
Rooker hits a line drive to right for a base hit. Man, he just keeps hitting. He came into the game batting .301 after a 3-hit game last night. And after Butler struck out, Rooker single to right, Brown fly to left. Here's Blade, lefty on lefty.
Soft ground ball to Torkelson, and he'll get the final out with ease.
We're on to the second here at the Coliseum. Tigers and A's scoreless.
Colt Keith will bat for the Tigers, top of the second against Brady Basso.
2-2. He will strike out against Basso. So Basso starts the second the same way he started the first with a strikeout. It's now Torkelson. And now a line drive caught by Gray, and 2 are quickly down.
Good positioning, Emart. Hard hit ball, little top spin.
Zach McKinstry, a 2-hit night last night.
Here it is, and that swung on a line drive and a leaping play back a second by Nick Allen, and the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the second, still 0-0. So Gray is at first, leading off in the second, and here's Daz, who's hitting at 190.
That he's had success, because then you can do that.
So takes a page out of Tarek Skubal by watching that game last night.
Here's Geloff.
This one's put on the ground in third. Ibanez has it to Keith for 1. Keith flips to first. Double play. Nicely done. 5-4-3 around the horn sends this game into the top of the third. Scoreless.
Dingler swings and misses at the first offering for strike one. He's out of the Ohio State Universities.
Swing a little flare, or do that.
Or that.
And he's going to head for second. Up with the ball, Butler. Great job to read that right in front of him and easily legs out the little flare double. So the heck with hitting a ball hard somewhere. He's feeling really good standing on second.
And 2 on with nobody out now for Vierling. And he goes at the first pitch, rolls into the third, off the glove of Gray, touches third, throws the first, not in time. A chance possibly for 3, and the A's get only 1, and that's the force at third base on Dingler. 2 on, 1 out. Top of the third with no score. The leg kick and the lefty's pitch. Swing and a miss, got him upstairs. Touch 94 that time, and Ibanez not on strikes. And now Riley Green left on left here. The stretch in the pitch. Swung on, lifted in a shallow left, charging on his Cameron, and Daz will get there. He'll make the play and end the inning. So the threat goes by the boards. Good job by Basso. Law struck out his first time, sitting on a 16-game hitting streak. 1 hit in the air, right center field, slicing away from Vierling on the run in the alley. Can't get it. It's down for a hit. Around first as Butler into second base with a 17-game hitting streak with his 22nd double of the year. And here comes Brent Rooker, an opportunity maybe right here for RBI number 100.
In 1-0 pitch to Rooker. Hit in the air to right. Vierling drifting back. Should have a play. Gets turned around, and he will make the catch backpedaling in front of the warning track to retire the side. Herter works around a 2-out double from Lawrence Butler, sends this game to the fourth. Tigers in a scoreless.
He's throwing a lot of strikes. You really like to see that from a young pitcher.
1-2 curve, swing and a miss. That was a dandy. That time from Basso. It retires Keith on strikes for the second time. And now here comes Torkelson. 2-2. Fastball hit behind first base. Foul ground. Brown over toward the sidewall. Still going. Reaches out. Oh, he makes a nice basket catch. Stays with it, juggles a bit on the warning track, kisses up against the side wall, and hangs on for out number 3.
Both breaking balls have really been sharp today. The slider and the curve. So here's the 1-2 pitch now by Basso. Curve ball on the outside corner, ring him up. What a job for Basso in his first major league start. 5 innings and no runs and 2 hits. A's have 3 hits. The Tigers have 2. The 1-2 pitch, and Geloff hits a line smash and a diving try at second. The ball hits the mid of Keith. It rolls into center field. That's a base hit. So Geloff drills it up the middle, and Keith to the backhand side, back a second, got his glove on the ball. Then the ball rolled behind him, and the A's have a start here in the 5th, and Nick Allen is coming up. Runner going. The pitch taken inside. Throw to second. The dive, and safe at second base is Geloff. Nick took the pitch for ball 1. The throw was taken at second by Colt Keith.
That was a heads-up move by the A's.
1-2 is hit in the air to center. Meadows, long run. He's going to make the catch, and Geloff will end up on third. And he'll be there with 1 out.
Geloff tagging, moves up from second to third, and that's out number 1. So here is McCann, and the pitch to Kyle is a one-hopper, and right through the second baseman Keith. It rolls into right field, and the A's take a 1-0 lead. Infield in, a hot one-hopper, and Keith tried to come up with the ball kind of slightly toward the backhand side and couldn't, and it was by him. He just missed it, and the A's lead 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th. And here's Lawrence Butler.
Boy, didn't want the slider there. Will it be playable? Long run, and Dylan Dingler makes the grab. What hands!
That is such a tough play for a catcher with that ball going up, and that ball is drifting towards third base.
Tiger fans are going to like watching this guy behind the plate.
Here's Rooker, right-handed hitter. A's lead 1-0.
1-1. Hit in the air. Shallow right coming in. Vierling. He's got plenty of room. He'll make the catch, and the side is retired. Oakland strikes first. It's 1-0 A's as we go to the 6th.
Shot number 2. That'll bring up Justin Henry Malloy. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Runner going. Swung on and missed. Foul tip. Held by McCann. Basso blanking the Tigers through 6 innings on just 3 hits.
1-0 Oakland here in the 7th. Nobody out, though. No place to put Dingler. With Rogers, Torkelson, and Keith at first, second, and third.
Soft ground ball to short. And the A's do not turn to. Not well turned at second base. And the Tigers tie it up. RBI for Dingler.
Boy, that ball was hit really hard, too.
What will Parker Meadows do today? Big plays with the bat on this road trip.
Fly ball softly to left. It's not very deep. And Cameron makes the sliding grab. And when he goes to the ground, that allows the Tigers to take the lead. Sacrifice fly for Meadows. 2-1 Tigers in the 7th.
So it keeps the ball game alive for the A's. And here's Geloff.
The 0-2, swing and a miss. Tigers win. Ate him up with a 98-mile-an-hour sinker. Jason Foley closes out his 19th save of the year. The Tigers come from behind in the late innings again.
Down after 6 and coming back, scoring too late to eke this one out. 2-1.
San Diego is now on the clock.
There has been much joy through the Mets' 8-game winning streak, but there's grim news today.
Not good. MRI this morning show a wrist fracture, so he's likely done for the year. And we're looking at 4 to 6 weeks. That's what they told us. So, it's going to be hard unless we're playing deep into October. That'll be a good conversation to have.
I would say if you see me on the field again, that's a really good thing. That means we're deep in the playoffs. So I want to say I can come back and help contribute, but who knows? We got to kind of see how it heals in the next few weeks, and then I think it might be a pain management kind of thing, so we'll see.
Well, better late than never. Welcome back to Citi Field, and after a rain delay of a little bit over an hour, Mets and Reds getting set to play some baseball. Meanwhile, on the mound for the Mets today will be Jose Quintana, who takes the first crack at his 100th career victory.
Yeah, his last start, a couple of runs given up in 5 innings against the Chicago White Sox. It was definitely a move forward from his previous starts where he had struggled.
And Stevenson lifts one to right center, circling in his Bader. And that retires the side. 1-2-3 for Quintana in the opening inning. Mets come to bat with no score.
Jacob Junis gets the ball today. Couple of good longer outings of late.
Yeah, I think they're going to even look for a little bit longer outing from Jacob Junis as long as he throws zeros on the board. He was very good his last time out.
Lindor riding a 34-game on base streak, tied for the longest single-season streak in Mets history.
Now he swings and lifts one high in the air, deep left center field. Back goes Friedel near the wall at the 370 sign on the track. Friedel hauls it down, or hauls it in.
Brandon hitting .230, 18 homers. Of course, he's cooled off.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Fastball, 92 miles an hour, and Nimmo swings right through it. Junis has retired the first 2 batters that he's faced. Swung on, and this ball is in the air to center. T.J. Friedel back a few strides to make the catch, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Jacob Junis.
Up and in ball 4, and Steer becomes the first base runner of the game.
And it'll bring up Ty France.
And he hits one to the right side, and Iglesias with a beautiful stop out at second, out at first, double play! Oh, wow! Jose Iglesias sprawling and then turning 2.
Well, he's going to be playing a lot of second base now in the absence of the injured Jeff McNeil. And whereas they said that Iglesias' range was what was keeping him in the minor leagues, time and again, Keith, he has shown that he can play major league caliber defense on the infield this season.
So back-to-back soft hits with 2 outs for the Reds. And now here's the former Met Ahmed Rosario, who was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts last night.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, went after a fastball that was up. And Quintana gets out of mild difficulty in the second.
Frelly with great speed getting down the line. Lindor had no choice but to wait back on that ball. India flied out to right his first time up, hitless in his last 9 at-bats. That's hit hard toward the hole. Nice backhand play, Lindor. Out at second, Iglesias to first, and they turn another gem of a double play. Oh, those 2. Lindor and Iglesias. 6-4-3, 2 out.
Oh, they are just magicians. That's what they are.
And that just renews the MVP chance in the ballpark.
No score, no base runners yet yielded by Jacob Junis.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Threw it right by him with the four-seam fastball. Fourth punch out for Junis. First pitch to Bader is grounded sharply right at Iglesias. Up and firing, and it's 3 up and 3 down. Jacob Junis has faced the minimum.
Jose Quintana facing Tyler Stevenson.
Line drive just fair past first base. Stevenson off the carom of the wall is on his way to second base, and he's in there sliding. It was a ball not hit all too hard, but it was right down the first base line and landed just past first fair, and then wall that caroms out, it kicked off of that and allowed Stevenson to get in there to second base.
Popped him up. Behind home plate, foul ground, first base side, near the on-deck circle. Alvarez over, makes the catch. Right on the warning track in front of the first row. And that's the first out.
Now the 2-2. In the dirt, gets away from Alvarez. Stevenson on his way to third, no throw. Ball didn't get terribly far away from the dirt, but just far enough. So the Reds have 190 feet away.
Tap back to Quintana. That'll hold Stevenson. 2 out.
And now with 2 down, the corners stay in. Middle infielders are back for Friedel. Hit on the ground to first. Right there, Alonso playing back. He fields. Sprints to first in time. Inning over. Leadoff double for Cincinnati. Quintana keeps the ball in the infield and keeps the Reds off the scoreboard.
The fly ball outs, now Mark Vientos.
And now ball 4 on a slider that missed down, and the Mets have their first base runner of the day. So Vientos aboard with 2 out. Here's Alonso.
Hammered. Right field. Fraley, though, has room on the track and gloves it for a long out. Retires the Mets here in the 4th as they strand one in the 4th.
Mets are without a hit through the first 4 innings.
Line the other way towards the right field corner, slicing away from Fraley. It is a fair ball, base hit, first hit for the Mets. Fraley up with it, fires in towards second. Iglesias is there with a double.
So the Mets with their first hit, their first runner in scoring position, and Francisco Alvarez will try and get him in.
Check swing, seemed to go. Appeal says yes. 5 strikeouts for Junis. Scoreless still.
Well, the Mets are delighted that Jacob Junis is out of this game. He went 5 brilliant innings, allowing just 1 hit, walking 1, and striking out 5. And so left-hander Sam Mole comes on to face Harrison Bader.
And he hits one in the air, deep right center field. Back goes Friedel to the warning track, and it's out of here! Harrison Bader breaks the ice with an opposite field home run. What a way to break out of a slump. Bader's 11th home run of the year, and it's 1-0 New York.
If you envision a championship season, at some point you got to get contributions from just about everybody. And Bader's been a struggle. He knows that. The team knows it. Nonetheless, the first big hit of the game.
Lindor trying to extend his club record tying 34 game on base streak. And that's wide ball 4, and Lindor's on base streak is extended to 35. That is a new Mets single season record. In tight, and Nimmo gets nicked by the pitch, and the Mets have 2 men on.
Well, that'll bring up Pete Alonso. And here another chance for Pete with a man in scoring position.
Pete, it's one up the middle. That's a base hit. Lindor around third. He'll come in to score. Nimmo stops at second. Pete Alonso right up the middle for an RBI single, and it's 2-0 New York.
Big hit for Pete right there. Very unusual up the middle. India was going for it, but then gave up on it like he thought De La Cruz was going to come.
So now 2 out and 2 on with 2 runs home, and here's J.D. Martinez. And he hits this one to left. Steer won't get this one. It's down for a base hit. It goes to the wall. Nimmo is in. Alonso right behind him. J.D. Martinez pulls in at second with a 2-run double. And the Mets double their lead. It's 4-0.
And they have a hitter of the quality of Martinez up, hooks this into left field. And as soon as it was down, you knew both runners, Nimmo and then Alonso, running on the play. And Pete gets a good start. That's as fast as Pete goes. Nice running to score the 4th run.
Jose Quintana now with the lead for the first time. In there for a call, strike 3. 2 men down. 6 strikeouts for Quintana.
And the batter is Santiago Espinal. First pitch swinging, a grounder, backhanded by the third baseman. Off balance throw, but it gets past Alonso. Would have been a really nice play.
Terrific stop by Vientos, but a long hop that skipped by Alonso. And so Quintana comes out of the game after 100 pitches, 6 2/3 scoreless innings, and gets a well-deserved ovation. Jose Quintana exits this game in line for his 100th career victory. That's with a 4-0 lead in the top of the 7th, and Adam Ottavino will come on for the first time in more than a week. Struck him out! Ottavino threw a fastball by the pinch hitter Benson. Side retired. So Diaz trying to right himself after a hit by pitch and a single. It's the 11th time this year that Diaz has worked consecutive days. His second-day ERA is 4.35. Struck him out! 100 miles an hour up from Diaz, 2 men down. This winning streak began with Diaz's bounce-back performance in Arizona. He has been spectacular during the Mets' 8 straight wins, as has the entire Mets bullpen. And he flies one to shallow left. Lindor waving everybody away, and the ball game is over. 9 straight wins for the Mets, 100 career wins for Jose Quintana, as the Mets continue this incredible roll from August into September as they shut out the Reds 4-0.
And today, it is a very special day here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And that is our pal, Rob Long, whose mom, Charlie, is throwing out the ceremonial first pitch today, and it will be to Orioles manager Brandon Hyde. Charlie was diagnosed with ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, earlier on this year. But in spite of that, there's nothing that is slowing her down. And the support, especially from her son, who is with her every step of the way, has been what has helped her deal with this and just given her more strength to continue to fight on. Rob and his mom, Charlie, wishing both of them the best. And she's a fighter, as tough as they come. Zach Eflin is going to be on the mound for the Orioles today. Absolutely dynamite the last time that he faced the Colorado Rockies, coming off the injured list. 5-0 in his first 5 starts with the Orioles.
He's been everything that the Orioles hoped he would be.
And he is trying to become the first pitcher in Orioles franchise history to win his first 6 starts with the team.
Yandy Diaz steps in the batter's box, leading off for Tampa Bay.
Breaking ball lifted in the air, deep to left field, high in the air. Counter back to Waltimore. Gone! Yandy Diaz with a leadoff homer, and the Rays take a 1-0 lead.
A stark contrast for Eflin, who pitched a perfect game through 5 in Denver in his last outing. 1 away.
Here's Junior Caminero.
The 1-1 to Caminero. Breaking ball rolled to the left side. Grabbed by the third baseman Rivera. He spins, fires to first in time. Nicely done by Emmanuel Rivera. And that's out number 2, and that is why Rivera is playing third base today.
You know, and Zach Eflin's no different than any other pitcher. You look at his opponent's batting average, it is the highest in the first inning, 284. Normally when he gets by the first inning, he kind of gets a feel, the mechanics and the rhythm get going.
The 2-2, swing and a miss. Got him with a cutter up, and Eflin retires the Rays in the first.
The Rays will send Ryan Pepio to the mound. The righty is 7-6 with a 3.76 ERA.
But quickly 2 ground ball outs for Ryan Pepio. Ryan O'Hearn will bat with 2 outs and the base is empty.
And there's a swing and a foul tip held onto by Driscoll. Strike 3. Ryan Pepio with a shutdown inning.
2 up, 2 down for Eflin to begin the top of the second. Into his wind in the 2-2. Swing and a foul tip held on to by James McCann. So a very brief 1-2-3 second for Zach Eflin. First and second, they have something going without a base hit.
And left-handed batting Jackson Holiday.
And he does. Flares that one in a right. That'll drop in front of Lowe. Kowser's going to hold on at third, but you've got bases loaded and 1 out.
As Emmanuel Rivera will come to the plate, worked some good at-bats since joining the Orioles. He's never hit a grand slam in his career.
And he is out on strikes. And boy, I'll tell you, Pepio went right to work there.
So it's up to James McCann here in the last of the second. Much better as of late at the plate. A huge opportunity here.
Shallow right. Outgoing is Aranda. Here comes Josh Lowe. He settles beneath it now. Makes the catch, in the Orioles do not score here in the second inning.
So Zach Eflin about to take the mound here in the top of the third.
Who settled in and retired the last 6.
It'll be Walls against Zach Eflin.
Walls sends this one high and deep to right. Santander is going to run out of room, and that baby's gone. Home run off the bat of Taylor Walls. The Rays' second home run off Eflin.
This is probably the worst command that we have seen from him so far.
Yeah, he's just not quite sharp.
And now that bases loaded situation, trying to get runs in, looming large. O's have it working here in the third. Runners at first and third. And look at this. The hottest hitter through the summer, Anthony Santander, is coming to the plate, looking for number 40 on the season.
After the first pitch, skying it into short center. And that's Siri coming in to make the catch.
So here we are again. Chance with runner in scoring position, first and third. And Cowser coming up.
Still a big situation in this game. Down 2-0.
That's taken outside corner, called strike 3.
Much of the frustration of Colton Cowser as he goes down looking. 2-out single for Emmanuel Rivera. Keeps the line going here in this fourth inning. Bring up James McCann.
Ground ball, and that'll have Eisen getting it right. Rivera moves up to second base, and so good piece of two-strike hitting by James McCann.
Orioles get another opportunity with runners in scoring position.
And that does bring up your best and hottest hitter.
That hottest hitter is Gunnar Henderson.
One swing and Orioles could be up.
Swinging a high fly ball to deep right center. Siri back toward the track at the wall, leaps and got it! He caught it! Took away a homer. Henderson slams his helmet. The Rays maintain the lead.
Jose Siri has the baseball with a massive exhale, holding everyone in the ballpark in disbelief. The reaction is absolute stunning nature by the Birds.
Adley Rushing as we start the last of the fifth inning.
This one is skied foul. Will it stay playable? And the answer is yes, with Driscoll making the catch and then going down into the dugout. And he took quite a spill. And let's hope that he is all right. And we're happy to see him standing at this point.
He is, wow, he is staying in the baseball game.
That is grit.
2 out here in the fifth. 2-0 Rays lead, and the tying run coming up from Colton Cowser. And a pitch, a little slow drag out to second. Aranda throws to Shenton. The side is retired. And let's make sure that Logan Driscoll's doing okay. He looks like he's all right as he's running to the dugout.
Zach Eflin trying to get another quality start as an Oriole.
He's got a good shot at the quality start. What he doesn't want to do is continue to sit on the hook, trailing 2-0. 2 down here in the sixth inning. Tampa Bay on top, 2-0 and threatening again. Runners at first and third.
Well, he's going to face Taylor Walls, who has got the lowest batting average on the Rays.
And there's a base hit lined the other way into left, and DeLuca will cross the plate. Taylor Walls drives in a run, and the Rays make it a 3-0 ball game.
That's going to be the end of the day for Zach Eflin.
First time Eflin not able to put together a quality start.
And for the first time, Zach Eflin sits on the hook. O's trying to get it started with Cedric Mullins, facing Ryan Pepio, the right-handed starter, who has been twirling a gem today, a 5-hit shutout. O's trying to get it going, 3-2. That's rocketed to deep right field, screaming towards the high wall, and gone! Cedric Mullins with a sizzling liner, just high enough to get it over the wall and right. His 15th of the season. Baltimore is on the board. Maybe this will jumpstart the O.
Now it's bases loaded, 2 out. They need a 2-out hit to add to their 3-1 lead, and they rely on a guy in just his third major league game in Logan Driscoll.
You can win the game here in the seventh inning.
And a one-hopper down to first comes up on O'Hearn. Pitch is going to have to cover and a high throw. One runner scored. Here comes Aranda. He will follow Diaz across the plate, and the Rays do get some insurance here with a little help.
And Logan Driscoll, he may be coming out of this game. Michael Johns is sending him back towards the dugout.
So a runner at second base right now in a 5-1 game and nobody out.
Yandy Diaz swings and drives one on a line to right center. That's going to drop for a base hit. Rounding third, coming home Walls. He's going to score without a throw. Yandy Diaz has been on base 4 times. 3 hits and a walk. He extends the lead to 6-1 now in the 8th inning.
New pitcher is Craig Kimbrell, making his 55th appearance of the year. 23 saves.
And for Craig Kimbrell with the Orioles, there have been some signs at times, especially from the stuff. It has gotten a little bit better.
With a man at third, DeLuca, and 2 out for Ben Rortvedt.
And this one's going to skip by, and down the line from third base comes DeLuca, and he will score.
2 down in the 9th. Big broad-shouldered Hunter Biggie comes to the plate. Got him swinging, and the Rays win it in Baltimore. And they really do dominate the now former first-place Orioles. The Rays knocked them out of first place with a 7-1 win, pushing the Yankees into first and the Orioles into second.
The pitching matchup is Darren McCacken versus Aaron Nola. For me, it really is very key that Darren McCacken really does fill some innings, and he really has to be able to do it.
Kyle Schwarber, he has been an absolute beast at the plate. You see these last 4 games, 526 average, 5 home runs, 10 RBIs, and almost a 2,000 OPS.
And this one hit well to right. Back goes Sanchez, and that is off the wall. He just missed another leadoff home run, headed for second, and he is safe. The call at second base. I mean, just about a foot from coming up with another leadoff home run.
So 2 outs now, and Schwarber remaining there at second, and Nick Castellanos will be the batter.
Here he floats one into left center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. And it's going to put the Phillies on the board first. Again, another first inning strike for the Phils here on the road trip as Nick Castellanos with a 2-out RBI single. It's 1-0.
Bryson Stott now the batter.
And it's hit sharply up the middle. Another base hit. Castellanos turns second. He'll try for third. No throw over there.
Stott goes from first. Fortes with the throw. And they got the foot. Nice throw and a nice tag there for Edwards. And they will not challenge. Nicely done.
Darren Nola makes the start here today. He's got an early lead to work with. Nola looking for his 13th win of the season.
Xavier Edwards, the shortstop. This one into shallow right center, and it will drop for a base hit.
So here's Connor Norby with Edwards at first.
He can make contact in a big way, in a big way. 2-run home run, Connor Norby.
Oh my, Connor Norby, my goodness. Absolutely hammers this sinker to right center field.
And the Marlins answer back right away and then some. Otto Lopez will lead off for Miami.
Might get nicer. Right center field. That one down. It'll get to the wall. And Lopez to second base with a leadoff double.
Well, the leadoff man in scoring position. Here's Griffin Conine.
On a hop to Stott at second base. That'll move the runner up.
Nick Fortes a chance now with a guy on third.
And that's popped up on the infield. Easy play for Bryce.
Here's David Hensley.
3-2 again. Got him looking. Nola, after the leadoff double by Lopez, able to strand him over there at third. Garrett Stubbs leads off. Here he bunts. And McCacken off the mound makes the play, but it's wide at first and now goes down the line. Stubbs taken off for second. Here's the throw. That goes into left field. And Stubbs is up and running to third base. And it's a Little League triple for Garrett Stubbs.
Kyle Schwarber will be the batter now.
And this pitch hit back to left, and that's going to chase Conine near the line again. Stubbs will tag, and Stubbs will score.
What a throw from Conine.
Kyle Schwarber, his 93rd run batted in of the season. The Phillies take advantage of the Marlins' mistakes and tie this game up at 2.
2 outs and nobody on. Here's Jesus Sanchez.
And lays off. So that's the first walk issued by Nola tonight.
2 outs and a man on. Here comes Jonah Bride.
Runner goes. Throw from Stubbs. A little bit late. Stolen base for Jesus Sanchez to get into scoring position with 2 outs. Slow roller toward third. Clemens has it. Throws to first. And that is going to go off of Harper. Trickle into right. And allow Sanchez to score.
Put the ball in play and good things will happen. The Marlins lead 3-2.
Castellanos leading it off.
Backhanded there by Norby. Long throw across the diamond. Spiked it on purpose and got it to Bride.
That's a beauty in time, and there's one away.
Now Otto Lopez. And oh, there's another hit for the guy too. Now one away for Nick Fortes. Ground ball. And that one sneaks through a base hit. Lopez, a left-hand turn. Safe at third base. Nick Fortes make it a 5-game hit streak, and the Marlins are set up first and third.
We'll bring up David Hensley.
3-2. Taken outside. Another good at-bat.
That's going to load the bases.
Aaron Nola kind of struggling to command his stuff.
Struggling to find it here this afternoon as we play the 4th inning, already up over 80 pitches.
Bases loaded with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here's Edwards.
1-0. And it's popped up. Third base side could be a play, and Clemens will have room. Boy, that's huge.
Bases still juice. 2 outs. Here's Norby.
And a base hit into left field. That'll score 1. Marsh comes up, throws toward the plate. And the Marlins go station to station. An RBI single for Norby to take a 4-2 lead.
Bases still juice for Sanchez.
Swing and a miss. He got him. And Nola limits the damage.
Johan Rojas now, the batter.
And he hits one hard to center. Going back, Stowers to the track. He jumps at the wall. He can't make the catch. It's in play. Rojas around second, heading for third. He's there with a triple. Another one, a narrow miss on a potential homer. But Rojas will settle for the 3-base hit.
Runner on third, 1 out, and Garrett Stubbs will be the batter. Got all the way to third on a bunt. His first at bat is up there, and he's bunting again right down the third base line. It's a good one, fielded by the third baseman Norby, and he throws it away. Run will score, and Garrett Stubbs is safe at first. Norby had to make a decision whether or not to actually field that ball as it was running right up the line. I think it would have gone foul.
I do too.
But he makes the decision to field it. Errant throw, run scores. It's 4-3.
Aaron Nola remains out there for the Phillies. He has utilized 89 pitches through his first 4 innings today. It'll be Bride.
Bride sends one to left field, and this one's hit well, and that one is gone just over that left field wall. A leadoff home run for Jonah Bride.
His 6th of the season. Marlins get that run right back. They lead 5-3.
Ground ball up the middle. Nobody can get to that one. And Conine with his first hit of the afternoon. As Nola now up over 100 pitches. Here comes Rob Thompson. And that'll be the end of the day for Aaron Nola. 3-2 has popped up. Near the Phillies dugout. Stubbs makes the catch as he gets tripped up with Harper. And what an adventure today for Garrett Stubbs. He hangs on.
And now there's 2 outs, and Jesus Sanchez will come to the plate.
And that one gets through Turner. He was there, played it off to the side. May have gotten handcuffed by a late hop, but Sanchez brings home another run at 6-3.
Yeah, he got handcuffed by a laser.
Lopez steps in from the right side.
Otto Lopez, deep fly ball, center field, solo home run for Otto Lopez.
Back-to-back 3-hit games for the Marlins second baseman, Otto Lopez.
7-3 Miami.
And here is Nick Fortes.
Fortes, fly ball, left center field, gives this one a ride. And it's off the top of the wall. They will hold Conine at third. Fortes cruises into second base with a double.
Making his major league debut here in the bottom of the 7th inning is Javier Sanoja.
Bouncer toward the shortstop. Turner comes home. It's a wide throw. A run will score. Here comes a second, and Fortes is safe. On a chopper to a drawn-in infield, the Marlins get a couple of runs. Welcome to the big leagues, huh? 9-3.
2-out base runner here in the 8th.
This Bryson stop.
Castellanos off and running. The 3-2 is hit sharply fair. Pass first, down the line into the corner. Castellanos into third. He'll be waved to the plate. Stott is in at second. It's an RBI double. And it's a 9-4 Marlins lead.
Brandon Marsh is going to be the batter.
And this one's lined into center. That's going to fall for a base hit in front of Stowers. Stott coming around. The throw will be cut off. And Brandon Marsh with an RBI single of his own. And it's now a 9-5 ball game.
And there are 2 away. Ground ball to first base. Bryant will take it himself and step on the bag. It's a Marlins win.
Javier Assad, boy, he's been good here at home, hasn't he? 2.30 ERA over 12 home starts. And since the All-Star break, a 3.10 ERA. And you can't talk about Assad without talking risky business. Runners in scoring position against him, just a 133 batting average.
Gleyber Torres is ready. Javier Assad is ready. And let's do it here in Wrigley. First pitch swung on, ground in the hole. Backhanded by Swanson. The throw to first. Not in time. He beat it out and field single.
Good sign for Assad, getting a ground ball first. Swanson comes up with the throw, but Gleyber Torres able to beat it out, an infield hit to get things started this afternoon for the Yankees.
Torres not moving. The pitch taken inside for ball 4.
Well, the Cubs thought that was strike 3, but Soto gets ball 4. So first and second for the Yankees, nobody out.
Here's Assad's next pitch. And it skips low, gets away from Bethencourt, goes to the backstop. Torres goes to third, Soto to second. And 2 in scoring position here on the top of the first for the Yankees.
So Judge back in, awaiting a 2-2. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Sweeper down and away. Judge, a couple guys in scoring position, gets a little greedy.
And now it's Austin Wells.
Pitch chopped on the ground to second base, could get a run in. Horner fields, he throws to first, it's in time. Torres scores from third, and it's an RBI groundout for Austin Wells. Yankees are ahead in the first, 1-0. Giancarlo went 0 for 3 yesterday.
Smacked on the ground to second, fielded by Horner. He'll throw him out to end the inning.
End of a half inning. It's the Yankees 1, the Cubs 0.
Well, there he is, Clark Schmidt out on the mound, going through his warm-up tosses. The Yankees happy to have him back. Last time we saw him on a big league mound was May 26th. He had a right lat strain.
And a 3-2 to Happ. Off the outside edge, and there you go.
Yeah, it's that ability. Really knows the strike zone, and he can do damage from the leadoff spot too. So he immediately puts the pitcher in a little bit of a defensive posture.
The 3-1. Swing and a roller to second base. Torres has it, goes to second for 1. Volpe won't make the throw to first. The throw to second was low by Torres, so they get the force out. And
swing and a miss. There's a strikeout we talked about, 2 away.
First strikeout of the afternoon. Wells wants the pitch off the plate, but it clips the outside corner with a cutter. Swing and a miss.
Pitch chopped on the ground to second base. Torres is right there, throws to first, and it's in time. Bellinger retired, and the inning is over. Assad has been very consistent for Chicago's rotation.
And that one to the outside corner. He paints the edge. It's a strikeout. His third, 1 away.
Yeah, second one looking. You got Volpe with a cutter that was out of the zone. Here's the 2-seamer that works its way back to the outside corner. See real good movement there.
Fly ball off the bat of Soto into right center, playable for Crow Armstrong right alongside Bellinger. Pete makes the catch, and that's out number 2.
Hit the air out towards left field. Happ charging in, makes the catch. And a 7-pitch inning for Javier Assad. The Yankees go 1-2-3.
Schmidt ready to go again. The 1-2. Swinging a little tapper right in front of the mound. Schmidt picks it up, tosses to Rizzo at first, 1 away. 1-0 Yankees, bottom of the third. The pitch. Swinging a slow roller to shortstop. Volpe has it. Long throw to first. It's in time. That ball was rolled toward the hole at short, so Volpe was going to have to make a quick throw despite the lack of speed by Bethencourt. 2 away.
2 up, 2 down. Here's Ian Happ, a walk his first time.
There's a base hit into right center by Ian Happ. Cubs get their first hit of the day.
So Ian Happ delivers the Cubs' first knock of the day. He's been on base twice.
Hit shortly. Volpe down to his knees, gets up and fires to Rizzo. AL rookies this season. Wins above replacement. Austin Wells with 3.4, right behind the Orioles' Colton Cowser. Lined into right field. It is a base hit for Wells.
Austin Wells runs well for a catcher, but he had one of the catcher's biggest fear right there. A line drive to right field, and thinking maybe Bellinger's going to come up and throw to first base.
Hopped up. Bethencourt got a late start. Wisdom over there. It'll be Christian to make the catch. Stanton retired. In the air, left field. Happ is there. Quickly fires it back in.
Ground ball to second, fielded by Horner. Lob toss to first in time, retires Rizzo. The Yankees don't score. Leave 1, middle of the 4th inning.
Next pitch is in there for a strike to the lefty Bellinger.
Line drive by Bellinger into center field, a base hit. It's a 1-out single for Cody. Cubs trail by a run in the 4th, and the batter Nico Horner.
Chop to Chisholm. 1. Not in time on the return. So Horner reaches on the fielder's choice, and that'll bring up Swanson. Horner goes, pitches high, throw to second. Got him. The tag by Torres, good throw by Wells.
Strong throw by Austin Wells, and the inning comes to a close.
Verdugo his last 12 games, 15 for 45, and he takes 4 straight out of the zone to work a walk.
As the dangerous part of this Yankee lineup comes to hit.
Fly ball center field. Crow Armstrong puts it away. Throw to first. They got him. A double play. They doubled up Verdugo.
But how does Alex Verdugo get doubled off here? I mean, this is a routine fly ball to center. You're not going anywhere. You see he's almost at second base and no reason to be there. It's a routine play.
They're going to challenge it.
I mean, you're taught to go halfway on a routine fly ball. He was more like 3/4 of the way towards second.
He might get bailed out by the replay.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is safe. New York will retain their penalty.
That's a huge sigh of relief for Verdugo.
And now it's Pete Crow Armstrong with 1 out and the bases empty. And a line drive and a base hit into right field.
Wasting no time as PCA jumps on that first pitch. And yeah, this is what the Cubs needed. Pete Crow Armstrong on base. See if we get a little something going here in the running game.
There he goes. Pitches high. Throw to second. Got him.
Only the second time he has been thrown out trying to steal a bag. Crow Armstrong, a perfect pitch to throw on. Wells gets rid of it as quick as you can, and the throw is right on the money.
Wisdom waits. Here comes the payoff pitch. And a pop fly hit to right, angling toward the line. Soto near the wall, and he dropped it. Can't make the play. Wisdom on his way to third base, and he slides in safely.
That's the ball going down the right field line, and Soto is saying the ball was interfered with, and I don't think anybody interfered with this ball. I just think Soto lost track of it in the shadow going next to the wall, and it's going to be a triple for Patrick Wisdom.
So Cortez against Bethancourt. High pop-up. Chisholm in foul territory. Here comes Volpe.
Volpe makes the play in foul ground, and there is the 3rd out here in the 5th inning.
So 3-1 on Judge. 76 pitches for Assad. And there's ball 4. So Aaron works a walk to start off the 6th inning.
1-2 is a call. Strike 3 on the inside corner. Wells caught looking. 1 away, 1-0 New York. 6th inning, and the batter now John Carlos Stanton.
Asada 2-2. In the air, well struck. Out towards right field. Bellinger back, and he makes the catch. Good read, jump, and catch by Cody Bellinger. Just not an easy play.
Here's Jazz Chisholm Jr. Grounded up the middle, and diving stop by Horner. They'll have no play. So Judge goes to second. Infield hit for Chisholm. Drew Smiley, veteran left-hander, 43rd game. He will face Anthony Rizzo, 35 years old. Runners go. Throw to third. It gets past Wisdom and goes into left field. Judge will score. Moving to third is Chisholm. It's a double steal and an E2 and a 2-0 Yankee lead.
Well, Aaron Judge and Chisholm did not waste any time. First pitch from Drew Smiley. They were on the move. Bethancourt has a cannon behind the plate. But that throw is a little bit wide. Wisdom can't knock it down, and the Yankees steal a run.
Run on the first, run on the 6th. It's held up so far. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Nestor's still out there.
2-0 game. Really need to challenge strike zone here, ahead in the count 1-2.
Off the backside of Nestor, picks the ball up and tosses to first. 1 away. A fortuitous strike. Up the middle, backhanded by Glaber, tosses to first, and the Cubs are down to their final out. Nice play by Torres. And the Cubs down to their final strike. Grounded to Torres. And he gets the win, and the Yankees get the win, and the Yankees win a series, and they have shut out the Cubs in 2 straight games.
Pirates get Joey Bart back off the injured list, Neil, and they've missed their catcher. I mean, he's one of the top offensive catchers in all of baseball.
And Luis Ortiz, he's been on quite a roll. 15 consecutive scoreless innings. He'll face C.J. Abrams to lead it off. And the first one from Ortiz. Swinging a fly ball to left field. Reynolds toward the line and onto the track. 1 out, 1 pitch in.
Batter now is James Wood, hitting second in the order, hitting .271 in 57 games. Now Ortiz delivers, swinging a bouncing ball left side, will go through into left field, a base hit in between the third baseman Triolo and the shortstop Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
That one drills Andres Chaparro. 95 got away from Ortiz. So Davey Martinez and John Catridis go out to check on Chaparro, who says he's okay. And now there's 2 on for Luis Garcia Jr.
Ground ball. There's 1 and 2. Well done. Luis Ortiz gets the roller to Gonzalez, on to IKF to Connor Joe. Inning-ending double play. Pirates come to bat.
David John Hers, 23 years of age, facing the Pirates for the first time.
Brian Reynolds was 1 for 4 and scored a couple of runs and on base twice on Thursday.
Hit well to left. James Wood drifting into the gap. Those long, easy strides. Tracking that one down for out number 2.
2 outs for Bart. He was activated prior to the game yesterday after missing a couple of weeks with a left hamstring concern.
He's aboard. A 2-out walk. Now Andrew McCutchen
sends a 2-bouncer over to Jose Tena, who will go the short way and get DJ Hers out of the first.
Got Keibert Ruiz to lead it off for Washington. Switch hitting catcher. Ortiz ready. Here's his 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Threw it right by him at 97. Struck him out. He let him have it.
That'll bring up the third baseman, Jose Tena.
You can hear De La Cruz yell, "I got it, I got it, I got it." And he does.
So in playing in his 10th big league game, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 3 runs batted in. After 49 games at Rochester and 51 at Harrisburg. Swings and drives one to deep left center field. Going back is Reynolds out of the warning track at the wall. He leaps and he can't get it. It is gone. Goodbye. Bang! Zoom goes Dylan Cruz to deep left center field to the left of the 410-foot marker. And about 3 rows deep into the bleachers. That's home run number 3 and RBI number 4. And you can hear the members of the Dylan Cruz fan club here at PNC Park. Nationals on top here with 2 out of the top of the second. It's Washington 1 and Pittsburgh nothing.
Gonzalez at 264, 5 home runs.
Ground ball back to Hers. The impressive athlete gets to it quickly, but then spikes the throw. Picked out of the dirt by Joey Gallo.
2-out walk for a second straight inning. That'll bring up Brian De La Cruz.
Slide step in the pitch, swing and a miss, and De La Cruz is out on 3 pitches, and Hers has his first strikeout.
Lined out to right. Dylan Cruz towards the line and in, and a nice running catch.
Here is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa swinging a ground ball towards short. Angling back is Abrams. He'll fling it on to first ahead of the batter runner for the second out. Reynolds trying to get on with 2 outs. Hers has walked a batter with 2 men out in both innings. And he'll continue that pattern.
It's on the way. On the inside corner. Fastball got him looking. And the called strike 3 wraps up the third. A leadoff walk for Luis Garcia after he fell behind in the count. Did a good job to grind out that plate appearance.
Jose Tena with 1 on and 1 out now. Lined right back up the middle. And that'll get out to center. Tena aboard, and the Nats have 2 on with 1 out. Slow ground ball to second. Coming to get it is Gonzalez. Only has 1 play, and that's to first. So Garcia and Tena move up. Joey Gallo now a chance to add to the Nats lead. Skips away. Joey Bart has to chase it towards the Nationals dugout, and that'll bring in the second run. Garcia in from third. Tena over to third. And the Nats are up 2-0.
But Luis gets him there.
Pass ball against Bart, 2-0.
Home half of the 5th coming up. Pirates are down 2-0 to Washington. Connor Joe will start it off. Brian De La Cruz and then Jared Triolo, the bottom of the order.
Yeah, got to get a hit.
Yep.
I mean, here we are. Bottom of the 5th. No hits for the Pirates.
3-2, they go with the heater and get another strikeout of De La Cruz. 5th K for DJ Hers today. Popped up right side. Luis Garcia Jr. using the glove for shade. Dylan Cruz the much easier play. And DJ Hers has not allowed a hit through 5 innings.
What a beautiful moment that just happened in between innings. Manager Derek Shelton might have said it best. We're all touched by cancer in some way or another, and when you deal with children, having it is something even more impactful. And earlier this year, Mitch Keller was connected with a young boy named Jordan Kennedy, who is currently in treatment for stage 4 cancer as he was diagnosed with a neuroblastoma back in June. Jordan's favorite player is Mitch Keller, and earlier this summer, Mitch and his wife Clancy visited Jordan during his last round of chemo at Children's Hospital, and then invited Jordan and his family to PNC Park for a game, including the opportunity to come down on the field pregame. Mitch said he was so excited to be able to have him at PNC Park and give him a view of the field that he gets every day, because when he mentioned the idea to him in the hospital, Jordan's eyes lit up. Overall, Greg, Mitch told me that when he visited Jordan, he was in a lot of pain, and seeing that crushes you. So he's so happy that he can do anything to be there for him and put a smile on his face through this tough time.
Luis Garcia Jr., the batter. He walked and eventually scored on a pass ball after leading off the 4th inning. Swung on, line drive right center field. That's going to be a base hit for Garcia toward the gap. He's around first on his way to second. Oneil Cruz up with the ball. His throw is way off line toward the infield, and then it kicks off the foot of the shortstop Kiner Falefa all the way over to the stands, and so with that, Garcia is able to go to third.
Now a fly ball lifted out to right off the bat of Keibert Ruiz. That'll be way deep enough to allow Garcia to tag and score, so the Nats immediately capitalize on the Pittsburgh error.
Swinging a line drive to left. That's going to be a base hit off the 2-2 fastball. Up with the ball is Brian Reynolds, who played into second. Jose Tena is 2 for 3.
Tena's aboard with 2 outs for Dylan Cruz. Cruz sends one deep to left. Reynolds chasing after it. It'll go off the wall. Rounding third is Jose Tena. He'll be waved in by Ricky Gutierrez. And Dylan Cruz, a 2nd inning homer, a 6th inning RBI double. And the Nats lead 4-0.
Robert Garcia takes over the pitching. Garcia delivers, swinging a line drive left center field. Coming in, Jacob Young, and it slices on him, but he makes the catch off to his left. And Kiner Falefa is out, 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
He'll chase after this one into the right center field gap and make another lunging catch. Got him. Fastball at 96 past Joey Bart.
Pirates have gone down 3 in a row each of the last 3 innings.
And a little bit of intrigue here. DJ Hers and then Robert Garcia combining to put up 6 hitless innings thus far. Ground ball to third. Tena crow hops into a strong throw, and there's 1 out in the 7th. Out to center. Jacob Young will have no problem with this one, and he retires Oneil Cruz for the 2nd out.
2 outs, and Nick Gonzalez is coming up.
And there it is. There's a hit. Nick Gonzalez.
Okay, that nonsense is over, Greg.
Yep.
Let's get moving here. Let me see a ball split a gap and score a run right here.
Rowdy Tellez going to pinch hit for Connor Joe against Jacob Barnes. Drive to right field, a pinch hit bomb. Home run, Rowdy Tellez into the Allegheny. A 2-run pinch hit tater for Rowdy Tellez. His first pinch hit home run as a Bucko, and it cuts the lead in half.
CJ has fly to the left field corner, grounded to second, and struck out twice each of his last 2 at bats.
Yeah. Abrams out to center, and that'll be good enough to plate an insurance run.
Run hard through, run hard through. Nice
Rowe
job,
comes
Joey.
into third. Joey Gallo tagged but goes back. And an RBI for CJ Abrams, number 63 on the season, and a big one to increase the Nats lead to 3.
Here's Joey Bart to lead things off, down 3. A fly ball to left. Wood coming in, it drops fair. Oh, Abrams kind of sprinting out there. Wood, those long strides looked like he had it measured, but it's a base hit for Bart to start the bottom of the 9th.
Cruz is 0 for 3 today.
And a base hit for Oneil Cruz through the left side. It's first and second. That will bring the tying run to the plate in the person of Nick Gonzalez. And a base hit. They are loaded up, and Rebello's going to go ahead and wave home 1. Why not? Bart scores on the single by Gonzalez. The Pirates trail by 2 with Ronnie Tellez coming to the plate. Ball 4. They're loaded up for De La Cruz. Brian De La Cruz 0 for 3 in this game in 28 Pirate games. 1 homer, 12 runs batted in.
Ground ball to short. Abrams, Garcia, Gallo, and the Nats win. Finnegan gets into a huge jam and delivers a pitch to get himself out of it and to lock up a 5-3 Nats win.
Coming into this series, this Game 2 pitching matchup was supposed to be Gavin Stone for the Dodgers against Alex Cobb for the Guardians. Both teams have had to shake things up.
Ryan Brazier's out there on the mound now. He is going to serve as the opener today.
He was the last pitcher for the Dodgers last night. He's the first pitcher for the Dodgers today. A soft flare pushing Rojas back from shore. One going for Brazier. The Dodgers opting with the veteran righty ahead of the young lefty, Justin Robleski.
Line drive and a base hit right field. Jimenez got on top of that fastball.
And he has been swinging it very well.
26 stolen base for Jimenez to get into scoring position for the RBI leader of the Guardians in Ramirez.
Now the 2-2. Pop up behind second base, and it is Rojas there to make the catch. A couple of steps on the first base side of second, and there's 2 gone.
And up steps Josh Naylor.
The line drive into center field, but right there to make the catch is Tommy Edman, and that will end the inning.
Shohei Ohtani
facing the right-hander Gavin Williams. 13th start of an injury-impacted campaign. And Shohei Ohtani wastes no time. Stay fair. It does not. It's foul.
Plenty deep enough, but just foul.
Now the 2-2.
Swung on, chopped to short. Corralled by Rocchio. Fires low to first. Good scoop by Naylor in time for the out.
All in one motion, he was able to get that ball over and it actually hit on the grass of the infield. And Josh was able to pick it for the first out.
Williams has walked the bases loaded with 1 out in the first inning.
The Dodgers have been given a gift.
I don't think it helped that the first pitch of this game for him, Ohtani just crushed, barely foul.
Pitching in this ballpark against the Dodgers, he's a little amped up right now.
Betts, Freeman, and Muncy on the bases. Edman in the box. Tommy Edman gets the party started on this Saturday. A 2-run double.
Betts and Freeman score.
And that ball was on the outside corner, and just terrific hitting by Tommy Edman. Went with it.
Here's Gavin Lux.
Lengthy AB. This is pitch number 8. And it's lined to left field, but it will hang up for Kwan. Muncy tagging from third. Kwan's throw cut off by Ramirez. A sacrifice fly for Gavin Lux. A 3-spot in the first.
And not done yet.
Rojas with hits in 19 of his last 23 games.
Base hit up the first base line, kicks off the sidewall. It is now 4-0, and the hits just keep on coming.
And that's it. Williams cannot make it out of the first inning.
First Guardian starter to not make it out of the first since September of 2021.
And it's still going with a runner at first base and 2 away. Andy Pajes, the batter.
In the air, left center field, hit deep, it is gone! Pajes to the pavilion.
And the Dodgers are routing the Guardians. It is now 6-0. Still in the first inning.
The inning that wouldn't die. Swinging a ground ball to second. 51 pitches later, it's finally over.
The side is retired. Lefty Justin Robleski does not pitch second. Right-hander Michael Grove does.
Catcher's interference. That's either the 4th or 5th one called on the Dodgers this year.
And there's one down with Fry still at first. Here's Lane Thomas.
Gaps one, left center, deep, and gone,
yes.
I believe. Yes, sir.
It is.
It was right at the top of the wall and had to wait to see what the umpires signaled.
And Cleveland's on the board. It's now 6-2 LA.
I think we're starting to see the real Lane Thomas.
Evening just getting started for the left-hander Justin Robleski. Top of the order against Robo here.
Ball 4 going outside. Kwan, the leadoff walk here in the 3rd.
Caught on and missed. Strike 3 at 98 for Robo.
Then it's down on strikes.
That's ball 4. So Robleski working himself into some trouble with 2 walks in the inning. And
it's Kwan at second, Ramirez at first, so good speed on the bases.
That's 3.
No runs, no hits, 2 left.
And now that ball is shot down the left field line. It's fair into the corner. Pajes made a nice play on it, but Schneemann hustles into second base with a leadoff double. And once again, the Guardians with an opportunity to cut into this 4-run deficit.
2 down in the inning. Top of the lineup, Stephen Kwan will step in.
Almost hit him, and it did. The bases are loaded.
It did hit him. He couldn't get out of the way.
And like that, the tying run's going to come to the plate.
And now Andres Jimenez coming up.
Fly ball, center field, routine for Tommy Edman. Makes the catch.
Frustrating inning for the Guardians as they leave the bases loaded in the 4th.
First time through, they were 4 for 5 with 3 walks, 6 runs scored. Second time through, not as much success. 1 for 8 pending this result here for Barnesy.
That'll ring him up. Perfectly placed outside corner fastball at the knees.
He's set down 4 straight since coming on last inning, and now he'll face Ohtani.
Swung out and missed. He got him to go fish.
From down 3-0 to striking Ohtani out. Back-to-back Ks for Barlow in the 4th.
Here's Mookie, 2 outs. Walked and scored in the first, flied to left in the second inning.
And Mookie Betts gives it a ride to left. Kwan in front of the scoreboard. He can watch it fly.
Gone! A home run from Mookie! His 16th of the season. And the Dodgers lead it 7-2. Oh, a solo shot for Mookie Betts.
Naylor's aboard with a 1-out single. And there'll be a pinch hitter for the Guardians as Kyle Manzardo's off the bench. And he will pinch hit for Fry.
Deep center. Back is Edman on the track at the wall. He's out of room. It's off the top of the wall or off of his glove. And into third base is Naylor. Manzardo will stop at second. Second and third, 1 out. Big chance to get right back in it.
Trinan puts him away.
Got him to swing over the breaking pitch.
Second and third, 2 gone in the 5th. The 3-2 pitch. Caught on and missed, strike 3.
3 strikeouts in the inning for Blake Trinan.
Here's Austin Hedges.
Strike 3, good slider from AV.
And Hedges way out in front. He strikes out on 3 pitches. There are 2 down.
Another payoff. And he does strike him out. 95 away from Alex Vesia.
Ohtani twice has grounded out, and he's also struck out tonight.
Left field. Kwan is back onto the track and makes the catch to retire the side.
Whew. Sabrowski just shaking his head, walking back to the dugout. A lucky man. 3 up, 3 down in the 6th.
Freeman bounces one into center field.
An out single for Freeman. He's 1 for 3.
Max Muncy's spot in the lineup comes up. He's a left-handed batter, so Dave Roberts is going to pinch hit for him.
1 on 1 out in the 7th. Dodgers leading 7-2.
The 3-2 bounce back to the mound. Herron to the bag for 1. Jimenez to first, double play. Side retired. Nicely done. And the Guardians are back in the dugout heading to the 8th.
Eli Morgan, first base side of the rubber, deals home a 1-2. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of Austin Hedges for strike 3. There's 2 down for the Dodgers in the bottom of the 8th.
Miguel Rojas steps in and he swings and loops one to the third base side. Moving over, diving, and making the catch is Daniel Schneemann, the shortstop coming out of nowhere. Stephen Kwan will bat. 0 for 2. He's been hit by a pitch and walked as well.
Kwan hits one up the middle. Right there to play it behind the bag is Rojas. He throws onto first, and that's the 2nd out of the night.
His heart rate, I'm certain, went up quite a bit because that ball was right back at his head. Able to duck out of the way, and there's Rojas.
So Andres Jimenez up the second baseman as Cleveland's down to their final out.
There's a single up the middle by Andres Jimenez, his 3rd hit of the night.
So the game continues. Jose Ramirez will bat. Cleveland tonight 0 for 12 with men in scoring position.
Slash to the left field side. Pajes hustling over, makes the catch. That's a win for LA. The Dodgers even the series, taking game 2 by a final of 7-2.
It is
is Saturday in St. Louis, and that means it's time for Cardinals baseball. Ballpark Village was bumping earlier today. It's Cardinals Hall of Fame weekend. 3 more inductees were placed in that hallowed hall here in St. Louis. And tonight it's game 2 of our big weekend series with the Seattle Mariners. We induct Whitey Karowski, Dave Duncan, and Matt Morris into the St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame.
Well, the Mariners in good shape to win this series. They've been swinging the bat well these last 3 games. Boy, that has been a joy to see. And situationally, things have gone well in terms of swinging the bat. We've seen guys move runners over. We've seen sacrifice flies when needed. That's very promising, and they go against a veteran pitcher here, Kyle Gibson. Mariners have really handled him. His last 6 games, a 7.75 ERA against the Mariners, and he's 0-4 in those games.
Julio Rodriguez up in the leadoff spot tonight.
5th time that Julio has batted leadoff this season as he flips this into shallow right field, and it dunks in for a base hit. It's a 10-game hitting streak now for Julio.
Yeah, 3 hits last night.
And if there's ever a time that he needs to go back to the top of the order, the way he's swinging it, this is pretty good timing. Jammed it a little bit, a little flare. Might it find the same patch of grass? Yes, it does. And the Mariners are wearing out short right field the first 2 batters.
Take it. To a good start here in the first. Cancel a lazy fly ball into right, but it works. And a swing and a miss. Gibson takes care of a Rosarena. There's that.